5.
Oh, fantastic. You ever watch The Hitcher?
The Hitcher?
Yeah. It's a HBO original movie back in the day with Rutger Hauer as a hitchhiker.
Rutger Hauer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with our episode whatsoever. I really like that movie.
All right, fair enough.
I was thinking about, it does kind of have a little bit to do with it. I was thinking about my ranking of the Halloween movies and why it might skew away from what other people would have.
Sure.
And part of it is because my first Halloween movie is not the one you would typically watch.
What was your first one?
I'd watched a little bit of the first Carpenter one, but not the whole way through.
See, my first one was the second one, so which is already kind of weird. But
yeah, because it's not even like a second movie; it just immediately picks up where the first one stopped.
Yeah, it's like as direct a sequel as a sequel can be.
My first one the whole way through was the Rob Zombie one.
Oh no!
Because my roommate Ashley is both a fan of Halloween and of Rob Zombie, so she was super excited to go see it. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's college, so I can either like get drunk or do nothing. So I'll do that. And we both really, really liked Halloween. We went all out and like decorated our place. It was great.
Well, hell yeah. I mean, I don't understand why people don't like.
Well, time and capitalism is the big issue right now.
Well, okay, that's different. You also no, that's not fair because you have a stockpile of just decorations and toys and all kinds of stuff that just make your house fun on Halloween.
Right? Yeah, I'm resisting putting them up before Belinda gets back from Chicago.
Oh, fair.
But it's hard. So because that was not only one of the first Halloween movie I'd watched all the way through, but spooky movies in general.
Okay.
Because I wasn't allowed to watch things that were overly spooky as a kid.
Sure.
And so I was like, oh, this is a genre I just probably don't like.
That's hilarious. Go on.
So my pre-zombie, Rob Zombie Halloween watching, there was, I think it was an AMC Top 100 Scary Moments special.
Okay.
And one of them, I had watched none of these movies, so it was like all spoilers. 100 scares, 100% spoilers. And the one was from The Hitcher, and I think he's in like The Greasers. He's
like a biker dude.
I think he might be like Ponyboy. I could be completely wrong. I'm probably wrong.
Oh, he's an outsider.
Oh, right.
One of those SC hidden
outsider,
types.
Not Greaser. Well, yes, Greaser, but not.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. No, Greaser still applies.
And he's like eating these like steak fries. He's just like thinking of the shit that he's seen. I'm gonna spoil The Hitcher's one moment for everyone.
I mean, I guess it's just upfront spoilers for pretty much anything we talk about today.
Yeah, I'll try to. If we go into heavy spoilers, I'll just like mention it ahead of time.
Sure.
But in general, a lot of spoilers. And he's just like staring off into this like diner. He's eating these like steak fries, and he's just like, fries. That was some intense shit. And he goes to like bite down. He's like, that's a finger. Not like he doesn't say that, but you know.
But that's the reaction.
That's the reaction. Yeah. I'm like, I don't want to watch this movie, and I loved it as much as I thought I would.
Excellent.
And I've since then, the first film that I worked on as far as me directing, writing and directing.
Yeah.
Was a quote unquote student film called Whitaker Tapes. And I was like, well, I need to research this. So I like watched all these horror films. And then I watched, I forget. It was one of the like French New Wave horror films. I wasn't like a big fan of it at the time. But then I watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The first one. I was like, shit, I'm caught. I caught it.
Yep.
I caught the bug.
Yeah, that'll do it. That's a really fucking good movie.
Yeah. Because before that, I'd watched the Universal Frankensteins, and I'm like, this is fun.
Yeah.
Or even Night of the Living Dead, which I know is technically a horror film, but it feels very much like a drama, like a family.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it is. It's both.
Yeah. As far as like out and out horror, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Anyway, so every season. You can cut all that. Every season, I pick a franchise to watch through, right?
Okay.
Because, again, didn't really get to watch a lot of this as a kid.
Sure.
Last year was Friday the 13th. The year before that was Nightmare on Elm Street. See, these are all the franchises like my mom grew up with. So she's like, no.
Yeah.
So now I'm catching back up.
No, your mom would absolutely not. Like, despite her allowing you to somehow watch Batman Returns, there was no way she was going to let you watch any of this. There was a chicken-based deal. We've established this. There could be no amount of chicken to make up for this.
No. My favorite part of the story is that she's said 2 specific moments that scared the shit out of her as a child, and is the reason I was never allowed to watch horror. The first one is in the first Friday the 13th, Elm Street. She's like, there's a tongue that comes out of a phone and like licks this girl.
Yeah, sure is.
It does happen, but when you watch it today, it's
so goofy,
super goofy. It feels like someone's like wiggling the phone back, or the tongue back and forth
a little bit.
It's
like, there's somebody off camera with like a broom handle, and they're just like.
It's still great, but it's not scary.
Yeah.
And the other one is I think it's 1972. I could be wrong with that, but it was a made-for-TV Dracula movie. I think it's called Dracula, and Jack Palance plays Dracula.
Oh, hell yes!
Directed by the team who did Dark Shadows, the soap opera.
Oh shit! Okay.
And it is goofy as hell.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's Jack Palance just being Jack Palance.
Yeah.
Running around in day for night with the cape.
What more could you ask for?
Like, is it fun? Yes.
Yes.
Is it a little slow?
Yes.
Is it scary? No, it's not. So this year I picked the Halloween franchise because I hadn't gotten to it, and because Halloween Ends comes out this October.
Right. That's correct. Real quick, Happy Hour Podcast has jumped into the chat to ask how we were doing this fine afternoon.
I'm so tired.
Aside from browbeaten by capitalism for the past week or so, anyway, we're doing all right.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining.
It's my first weekend off after starting the new job.
Yes.
Adjusting better than where I was, but still making adjustments.
We'll get there.
So if I also stare off like I'm eating steak fries with a finger coming, it's because of that.
We'll just watch to make sure the finger doesn't actually make it into your mouth, because at that point you might just not notice.
What was it? I was thinking about this the other day. Back when I lived with Scott, we had a really bad pantry moth issue.
Oh my god!
And I think I was like eating a bag of cookies or something, and I went to like dump the bag into my mouth.
And you just dumped a bunch of pantry moth into your mouth.
And like right when I was like, I've had my fill, and like backed the box off. Moths.
Like, Jesus Christ, I hate
my
it.
My partner at the time was like, you almost ate those.
Protein, baby.
Yeah. They wouldn't be so gross if they didn't have that weird like fibrous
I hate them.
mesh shit.
No. God, I hate pantry moths.
So anyway, Halloween. We thought we'd open up this episode by me ranking the Halloween movies.
It's to see how mad you can make everybody.
And seeing how mad I could make everyone. Because when I watched Nightmare on Elm Street, I was already a fan. Like, I already liked that franchise.
Sure, yeah.
Watching Friday the 13th, I became a fan. Watching Halloween, I kind of unfanded.
You unfanded?
Yeah. I was like, Mikey's cool. All right. Like what he does. Nice, simple outfit.
Yeah.
It's just,
So it's a good inside-out Shatner on his face.
Right. Well, it's not the love. But then I watched every one of them that's out currently.
So before you jump into actually ranking them, I just want to point out I've still only seen the first 2 original Halloweens and the first of the new Halloweens, like the one that came before Halloween Kills. That one, yeah. So I've not seen the Rob Zombies. I've not seen Season of the Witch. I've not seen anything beyond that or in between those.
Luckily, most of the ones you've seen are more towards the top of my list.
Sure.
And all the shit that you've not seen is towards the bottom.
Okay, so I've not made many mistakes with this.
No. Again, I'm ranking a franchise that I'm not a huge fan of.
Let's hear it.
So do we want to go
bottom to top?
Bottom top?
Yeah, bottom to top.
Absolute bottom. Just the fucking worst is Halloween Resurrection. That's the one where they do a Blair Witch inside of the Myers house.
Oh, okay. I think I remember seeing trailers for that when it was coming out.
Real dumb.
What year was that one?
It's got to be 2000s.
Okay, yeah.
Early 2000s would be my guess. The next one from that is Halloween 6, Curse That Mikey. Curse him. That is where there is a pagan cult trying to do things with the mic.
I just want to be clear. Curse That Mikey is a subtitle you're giving it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just.
Yeah. I was trying to fix it, but mostly
it makes it sound way too fun.
It really should be the very bottom. If the camera work were worse, it would be.
Okay.
Like, Halloween Resurrection, from top to bottom, it's all garbage. It starts with killing off Jamie Lee Curtis. So like,
no.
But
I'm glad they ignored that.
Curse That Mikey implies that Mike Myers has maybe had carnal relations at some point.
No,
and I don't like that.
No. This man has never fucked.
No,
absolutely not.
I really don't like it. Step up from that, Revenge of the Mikey, which is all it takes some threads from Halloween 4 and carries them on, and I like that idea because I kind of liked where they were going with Halloween 4, but it completely drops the ball because it's like, oh, we got to get into that pagan ritual stuff.
Sure.
I should also mention that there's 2 different cuts of Halloween 6, and I watched the director's cut, I think.
So
producer's cut. There's no director's cut.
Okay, producer's cut. Okay, so you haven't seen the theatrical.
Correct.
Okay. Is there any kind of like fan consensus as to which one is less terrible?
They are. I think the producer's cut's considered to be slightly better.
But is it like they're both so bad that nobody really gives a shit?
Correct.
Okay.
I think one of them. I think the reason that people like the theatrical is it takes away the aspect of Mike fucking.
Oh, the producers added that.
The producers added that because there's more pagan shit in the producer's cut. But there's also more Dr. Loomis. Which it was Donald Pleasance's last film.
Oh, damn.
And
that's okay. That's rough.
Yeah. So it's like I picked the producer's cut because Donald Pleasance.
So now would not adding the fucking take away from the Donald Pleasance?
I think a lot of his investigation deals with the cult.
So the pagan cult has to be there.
I think so.
And they just don't have another choice than to engage in having Michael Myers fuck.
From the memories I've erased, but I'm now trying to recall. Yeah.
Cool.
I like to think that Mike Myers died repeatedly as a virgin.
Yeah.
So Halloween 4. So this was the first one back after Curse of the Witch.
Season of the Witch.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
All curses.
They're all curses.
It was all right. It was okay. Somehow this iteration of the Mike mask looks stupid. It just
what? They altered it? They changed it at this point?
Yeah, I think except for the first 2. I think they've all kind of like changed slightly.
Yeah, as they couldn't find the same Shatner mask to fuck around with after a certain point.
Owning several latex masks myself, they did deteriorate pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But this one feels like they lost this one on a bus somewhere, and then they had to go buy the like knockoff brand Mike mask.
Okay. The Dollar Tree Mike Myers.
Right. But the characters a little bit. The side characters are likable. It's a little bit of a bummer that they killed Jamie Lee Curtis off screen.
What the hell?
Yeah.
How many times did they kill Jamie Lee Curtis?
So let's talk about the timelines of Halloween.
Oh God.
There's like 3 or 4 different timelines. The first 6 movies are one timeline.
Okay.
And then they reboot it with H2O.
Sure.
Which ends after Resurrection. Because there's only 2 movies in that timeline.
Yeah.
Well, there's the original movie is in every one of the timelines.
Okay.
That always counts.
Yeah, that's always your jumping off point.
Unless you do the Rob Zombie timeline.
In which case it's a whole new start. Yeah.
And then you have the most recent timeline, which is Halloween. Halloween, we did it again.
And then
Halloween kills some people.
Does that ignore Halloween 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they ignore Halloween 2.
Okay, that was the thing that I wasn't sure about, because I knew it held Halloween 1 as sacred continuity. I wasn't sure if it held 2 as well, or
Yeah, it ditches 2.
Okay.
Anyway, after Michael returns, I jump to H2O, which is considered to be pretty good by most fans, but it is very early 2000s.
I remember some hype around it whenever it first came out. I have not seen it myself. I don't think anyway.
It's fun. I think they tried to do some stuff after the Scream came out. I could be wrong. It might have come out before the Scream. I don't know. It's like the shitty version of Scream.
Okay.
Not as witty, but Jamie Lee Curtis came back,
which is always good.
Yeah.
Until she died in Resurrection.
Yeah. She has a kid who's kind of charming. Like the side characters are interesting.
Okay.
It's just like it's not a good enough movie for me to watch it again.
Fair.
Above that is Halloween Kills, which is the most recent one that's out currently.
Right. That's the one, the sequel to which is coming out this year.
Yes.
Okay. Now I know a lot of people were pissed about this one.
I've now watched it twice. The first time I watched it, I'm like, this is fucking stupid. Watching it again the other day, I was like, it's not that bad. I do hate how often they say Halloween dies tonight or evil dies tonight or that. And I know they're trying to not so subtly play on mob mentality and how certain aspects of our political spectrum will get looped into catchphrases and do things that they normally wouldn't do.
Gotcha.
Like kill a person who's just escaped from a mental institution. In the movie, Mike is on the bus.
Yeah.
And crashes said bus because he's going to do his Mike.
Mike and a Mike, yeah.
Some of the other people that were on the bus, who were also from the hospital, were like, I guess I'm not on the bus now, so wander around. And then the mob's like, that's a Mike Myers because they've never seen his face. And they do things to people that are not Mike Myers.
Okay, yeah, that's some mob mentality, hysteria kind of shit.
So I enjoyed certain scenes of it. What I liked about it was watching Halloween again 2017 directly into Halloween Kills. Watching them back to back actually adds a lot.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Because there's some characters you see briefly in the first movie that then come back in the second one to be more important.
Okay. That gives me less hesitation about wanting to actually watch that one.
Yeah,
then.
And I'm hoping they do that with Halloween Ends as well, where you're seeing this play into the last movie.
Neat. After
Halloween Kills, we have Robbie Z's Halloween 2.
Robbie Z's Halloween 2. Okay.
Horse.
Horse?
There's a horse.
There's a horse.
Yeah.
Okay. What that horse do?
Mostly just stands there. It really just stands there.
Menacingly.
Not even. It looks kind of bored.
Wow, it's a very, very calm, honest assessment of this horse that you're giving. I really would have expected you to think that it had ulterior motives.
No, it doesn't want to be there.
Okay.
So Halloween 2 is considered by many people to be like the worst of the Halloween movies.
Yeah. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
Correct.
Yeah.
But like of all of them.
Gotcha.
I like what he was going for.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of trying to explore his Mike Myers psychosis, trying to understand like why he does what he do. People hate that apparently.
Yeah, it's Patton Oswalt's bit about the Star Wars prequels comes to mind for me, where people don't want to know why they love the things they love. They just want the things that they love.
Yeah. The thing that hurts it is money. He was given
too much.
He was given none.
None. No, weird.
No time, no money. But you can do whatever you want. Just no time.
No time or no money.
Yeah. So it looks
like that seems like you can't actually do what you want.
Right.
Then.
Yeah. Yep.
Didn't his first one go over pretty well initially? Then why the fuck did they not give him any money?
Because they wanted him to do one thing and he wanted to do another thing.
But you said you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. But we don't believe in you. We don't believe in your vision. So no monies. Yeah.
I'm having Superman Lives flashbacks now. Let's keep going. Okay. Let's keep going.
But like the exploring Mike and Laurie, how they connect in their kind of family upbringing, I thought was really interesting. But the kind of like music video style aesthetic imagery didn't work because no money.
Sure. So even for that kind of thing, you got to have some money.
Yeah, it just looks kind of like, oh, you put some like flashy lights on this spooky wife of yours. It didn't really work.
To be fair, he does like to put some flashy lights on his spooky wife,
which is great. But this is one of the two movies that we'll talk about today that the best thing about it is the band that I found.
Excellent.
Shit, what's it called? I'll look it up on one of our breaks. But it's like Captain Creepy and the Not Nice Monsters. It's a rockabilly.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Made specifically for the movie.
Oh my god, yes.
It's pretty fun. Above Robbie Z's Holly 2 is Halloween. Oops, We Did It Again, 2017, which I enjoyed much more the second time.
Nice.
I don't like what they did with New Loomis.
I forget, what did they do with New Loomis?
Well, one, he's New Loomis, so
they couldn't old Loomis,
right? But they could have done like entirely new, different character.
Yeah, that's true.
Not like evil Loomis, which is what he was. He's like, I'm the evil Loomis. I let Mike out to be evil. Yeah, so I didn't really care for that.
Yeah,
but everything else I was fine with.
Okay.
Above that is the OG Halloween.
Sure.
Above that is.
Hey, wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute.
Yeah, we're in the top 3 now.
Okay, above the OG Halloween, what's that?
That would be Robbie Z's Halloween.
Oh, no, Jack. Oh, God.
I feel like I have to explain myself a little bit here. All right, so by the time Halloween came out in 1978, but I was born in 87.
Yes.
A lot of horror movies had copied Halloween by the time I was birthed into this godforsaken world.
That's true. That's definitely true.
So a lot of the shtick that Halloween kind of perfected, I'd already seen in a bunch of other movies. So none of it was new to me.
Yeah.
Do I love Gone Carpenter? Maybe. It's been a long week.
Bam me.
I love John Carpenter.
Yes.
That's established. But I'm definitely more of a Thing fan.
Oh, absolutely. No, it's perfect.
But, you know, Halloween. I enjoyed it. It just didn't blow me away. Because I watched other stuff before that. Rob Zombie's Halloween, however, if you were to like, Jack, we need to remake, if on this podcast we're like, we have to redo Halloween, I would end up pitching Rob Zombie's Halloween, not in like the grotesque over the top nature, but in the analyzing the character to figure out why he is the way he is.
Okay.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
And like, it has a little bit of that Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer vibe where it's like, ew, this is gross and I don't like it and it makes me uncomfortable. But
it's kind of supposed to.
It's supposed to?
Yeah.
Because like, if I think in the original, it was scary that Mike was just a regular child coming from a regular family, but I also don't care. Whereas this was an awful family with awful human beings raising this child. And like, of course he turned out to be Mike Myers. And as a fan of true crime, it's much more that most of the time than it is just some random kid in a clown suit.
Sure.
He tortures animals? Of course he does.
Yeah. That tracks.
Yeah. And then
number one, I did just occurred to me a second ago, like, hey, there's only one left.
Yep.
So your favorite Halloween film is Halloween 3 Season of the Witch.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that movie. Tom Atkins for days. That stash. sucks on a booby in that movie.
Does he?
Yeah.
Huh.
Like
good for him. Good for that stash.
I think he's a local boy too.
Really? He's a Pittsburgher?
I think so.
Huh.
Surrounding area.
Okay. Greater Pittsburgh area?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. That's something to look into.
I love him as an actor. He just is very much an everyman.
Sure.
With a stash.
So why is this your favorite, aside from the mustache on booby features?
That is definitely helps it. Much like we were just talking about My Chemical Romance and the earworm that is Helena.
Yes.
This has a really obnoxious earworm.
Oh.
So the premise revolves around these Halloween masks that change children into gross ghoulies. And the commercial for this mask, for Shamrock novelty masks, I'm not going to sing because lawsuits.
Sure.
But it's very catchy, and they play it all through the movie, like
a whole bunch,
over and over and over again. And at first you hate it, and then you like it, and then you hate it, and then you love it.
So it comes back around a few times.
Yeah.
Okay, so I immediately worried that there was going to be a fucking leprechaun tie-in.
No, but they do the Shamrock thing more as like hinting towards the pagan roots.
Oh, okay. Because I know that, or at least I have read in places that like the idea for Halloween was to be more of an anthology kind of setup. That Mike Myers was never supposed to be the face of the franchise the way that he is, and that this was supposed to be the jumping off point for like, let's tell a different story, and no one liked that. Except for you, apparently.
Either this will explain why I am the way I am, or it'll make it hate me more. I would have liked Halloween 78 and Halloween 2 more if that had been the entire story. Like if they had stopped
with Mike there. Yeah. Okay.
Rather than playing the character out to death. Like I don't care about this character anymore.
Yeah.
Whereas if it was like, oh, we got to see his whole story in 1 and 2, we moved on to Season of the Witch, which that's the thing I like the least about the movie is the fucking title. It just doesn't. There's not really a whole lot of witching in the movie.
What is it about certain movies where they just give it a name like that? Like Becca and I just found ourselves watching Blair Witch 2 the other day.
Book of Meanness.
The full title is Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2. And there are two things that are not in this movie, which is a Book of Shadows or the Blair Witch.
Were there any books?
There might have been some books.
Okay. At least there were a book.
And it's just fucking bewildering. And like I know there are reasons like behind the scenes that there was supposed to be a Book of Shadows that was like a screenplay that the one guy was working on about the stuff that happened. I don't know, but they jettisoned that whole storyline.
I would love to maybe not do a full-blown development hell episode on that, but like just explore what the fuck happened, because Blair Witch was
a mess.
The first movie kind of just took everyone
by storm.
Yeah.
No, that was a zeitgeist tour de force.
My God. Are you familiar with their marketing campaign?
Vaguely.
They started airing commercials for it on Sci-Fi.
Yeah.
But not as like, oh, this is a movie that's coming out. They're like, here's this found footage that we're going to air.
Yes.
And wouldn't you know, somebody watched that as a little kid right before going camping.
Naturally.
I had no idea it was a movie.
Oh my God.
Anyway.
So now that we've put that out into the world for you to be pilloried for, should we get into the actual thrust of this episode?
Hey, welcome to DeRazzled. We're about a half hour in.
Yeah, this is the latest we've done a fucking intro.
I'm Jack. They had it coming. Culbertson, and this is Joe. Their beards blah, blah. And this is Joe. There are bones beneath that beard, Neelis.
Shaving's a nightmare.
We're doing a bit of a relaxed thing.
Because it's Halloween. It's spooky season, baby.
And clearly I have not even 2 brain cells to rub together. Just the one bouncing off the walls. So,
So if you tuned in last year for our very first Halloween Jamboranza, we took a whole bunch of prompts from a social media calendar and responded to them, which that's still available to listen to. Go check that out if you'd like. But we're doing something very different this year in that we've compiled a curated list of directors who we want to examine the best and worst films of. So we've put that list out into the world for people to chime in on, and a couple of you did. So thank you for that. Thank you to Tabby from the Happy Hour podcast, and to sorry, I'm blanking on the name suddenly.
That's some Matt, the childhood friend.
Thank you to Cam Scully for sending in a voicemail, and to a friend of the show, Matt Stoyanov, for sending in a voicemail that missed the prompt a little bit, but we appreciate the input. I will add those into the episode at various points, so you get to hear those bits of input for yourself.
Are you going to do an impression of, was it Tabby?
No, Tabby didn't send in a voicemail, so
right, but you're gonna do her part.
No, I'm not. I will point out.
Be a pretty girl. Okay.
I am a pretty girl. No, I'm not going to be doing any impersonations of anybody, but I'm sorry. But yeah, I'll bring up what some people's feedback was whenever it comes appropriate for certain things.
So initially, we were going to do the really well-known horror directors.
Yes.
Which we talk about anyway all the time.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, we brought up John Carpenter a whole bunch.
Yeah. Friend of the show, John Carpenter. Friend of absolutely no one, John Carpenter.
There was a really great piece of footage that came across my Twitter feed the other day where somebody asking him, "Hey, I loved Escape from New York. What the hell happened with Escape from LA?" And John Carpenter's response was, "Fuck you."
Threw him the finger.
Don't say shit like that to creators.
No.
Like, it's just rude.
I saw somebody comment like, "He doesn't know how to take criticism." Like, that was not criticism.
That was not criticism. That was dicketry.
So after seeing that list, and I'm sure we'll do that at some point, we decided to talk about directors that don't get as much love. Maybe show you some movies that you're not as well aware of.
I mean, we took a couple that are more established horror directors, just for the sake of having a couple on there. But we wanted to get a more diverse list of directors there to discuss, just for our own edification, because I know I certainly wasn't aware of some of these directors' works, and there's just a wealth of stuff out there that's worth highlighting.
And kind of an embarrassment to myself, I wanted to watch new horror movies, and the way to do that was to watch movies not done by white men.
Yeah.
Though we did keep Wes Craven.
We did keep Wes Craven. We did keep Clive Barker.
But he's very gay.
He's very gay. Yes.
He is white.
Yeah.
Gay white.
There were a couple of caveats to the list that we compiled, though. We wanted to specifically focus on directors that had at least 3 works of horror done.
Yes.
So whether that's TV or film or whatever. So there were a few people that we didn't bring up that we had considered, which we'll give some honorable mentions now, I guess.
Yeah. So one of the best postmodern vampire films out there is Near Dark, which is by Catherine Bigelow. Has Mr. Billy Paxton in it.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. You should go to watch. It's described as a neo-Western horror film,
which is fun.
Yeah, no, I very much enjoy it. One that I've not yet watched, but very much want to, is called Eve's Bayou, which is like a Southern Gothic film by Casey Lemons.
Casey Lemons. Okay, I like that title.
Then there is the classic The Slumber Party Massacre, which is exactly what it sounds like. This one is by Amy Holden Jones and written by femme as well, Rita Mae Brown.
Okay.
And if you like cheesy slasher 80 movies, that's this. The most recent Candyman, that's 2021.
Yes.
Which is a requel.
Requel is it's in amongst that trend in Hollywood lately. As Nia DaCosta, I think, is the director.
It's weird. There's like elements I really, really like, and then elements I really, really hate.
Yeah,
so
that seems to be the consensus I was seeing. With there's some good ideas and there's some bad ideas.
So it averages out to being like, yeah, that's right.
All right, I'm excited to see what she does with the Marvels coming up. She's jumping from Candyman to the MCU, where she'll be directing everyone's obvious favorite character, Captain Marvel.
Oh, the Marvel,
and
whoever it was.
Yeah, I mean, I personally like Brie Larson's Captain Marvel. I'm excited to see more of her. So
I don't really know the character super well because when I was reading her, she was like a side character to the original Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
I am excited to see Ms. Marvel.
Yes. Her TV series was quite good. I enjoyed that thoroughly.
Comic. Like the original comic that she's in is so good.
The introduction of Kamala Khan fucking rules. Absolutely.
Hilarious.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see them actually get together and work together on screen.
And then did they say what the third character's name's going to be?
I don't know. I don't know what she's going by, if it's like Photon or what.
She had like 16 different names.
Yeah, it's because she was introduced in WandaVision, and she's
I like the actress.
Oh yeah, no, she did a fantastic job. Just we haven't seen her since then. At this point, it's been a couple years, so I'm excited to see what happens there. I think what the conceit is, like, they all kind of change places whenever they use their powers. Yeah,
I haven't gotten to watch all of Ms. Marvel yet.
It's not terribly addressed in Ms. Marvel, the TV series. So that's like some press material that I've seen where I think they've described that as being the primary conceit.
That's cool. That actually goes back to OG Marvel.
Yeah.
Because he would have these like wristbands and he would switch places with what's his name? Such a douchebag. I want to say Snapper Carver, that's DC.
That'd be weird.
But it's a similarly named character that you're like, the fuck are you? He's just like a kid that shows up in different like he's the kid that Bruce Banner saved.
Oh,
he's
okay.
Why are you on the field where the nuke's going off? Get out of here!
Yeah, maybe don't be there. Stop that.
Yeah, but that kid, shows up.
Gotcha.
Anyway, then there's the Babadook, which is Jennifer Kent.
Jennifer Kent. I fucking love the Babadook. Gay icon, the Babadook.
She has done a second horror film. What is it called? Like Nightingale or something.
She also did like a Babadook Christmas special of some sort, if I'm not mistaken.
I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure. I might be wrong. I thought I remember seeing that on her IMDb.
Her second film after Babadook, I was reading. One of the reasons I didn't watch it last night was it's very hard to watch.
Okay. Like in terms of, like, hard to find, or
no, hard to watch.
Okay.
I'm trying to like have an episode where we don't have to have the CW warning of assault.
Oh yeah, we may as well throw this out there. I mean, we already have to have the CW or content warning for sexual assault for this episode, as well as violence against women, dismemberment, blood, violence, gore. We're talking about horror movies, Jack.
Well, so the one review I'd read for, I'm going to say Nightingale, but I could be wrong, was that somebody was watching it at like Cannes or whatever festival, and they like jumped out of their seat and they're like, I've already seen her get raped twice. I'm not doing it again.
Jesus.
Which I'm like, well, don't want to see this one.
Yeah, that's rough.
But her Jennifer Kent's explanation for this was it's dealing with the treatment of the Aboriginal people of Australia. So so like fair. Might have to go into that one with like a solid stomach.
Yeah.
Anyway. So she will actually be directing an episode of Guillermo del Toro's upcoming series.
The Cabinet of Curiosities for Netflix. Yes, I'm very excited for this.
She's directing, I think, episode 1.
She is. Yeah. I pulled it up on the on Wikipedia when we were talking about it earlier. Yeah, she's definitely directing the first episode. Another director we'll be discussing today in more in depth. Anna Lily Amirpour is directing the next to last episode, I think. Catherine Hardwicke, Panos Cosmatos
Mandy and a personal favorite, Beyond the Black Rainbow.
Yes.
Which I love and nobody else does. Two different episodes are from Lovecraft stories.
Yes. Including the Catherine Hardwicke one and a Keith Thomas directed episode as well. So that's something to look forward to. That's coming out toward the end of October.
So do we want to take a break before we jump into the actual director?
I think considering how long the intro on Halloween went, I think we should take a little break here, refresh our city water, and then we'll jump right back in fresh.
Oh, Lordy.
Yeah, that's just 44 minutes of recording. I mean, there's gonna be a good bit cut out of the beginning of that because I started the Reaper recording before we even went live. So
okay.
Oh, my back. My body is just like rebelling against me right now.
Yeah, I feel that.
Oh.
What you gonna do today? What you do today?
D&D actually.
Sweet.
Yeah, I have Sean is starting up a new campaign where everybody starts off as sorcerers.
You're a turtle?
Yeah, I'm playing a turtle person.
Sweet.
I'm starting up as a wild mage sorcerer who's sick of all the shit that being wild mage causes to happen to you.
Sure.
So he starts trying to become a monk to kind of hone his mind and body, but the wild magic's still there.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that plays out.
If you ever end up playing like Call of Cthulhu or anything, where the campaigns don't last very long because you die, let me know.
We'll see. Yeah, I think most of what we're doing is like longer form stuff, but
yeah, which is unfortunate.
Yeah,
for me, not for you guys. That's awesome, but
I would. Oh my god. My friend Jeremiah did a not specifically Call of Cthulhu-esque thing, but he did what it was supposed to be a one shot. It turned into 3 sessions. Where it was all like sanity based and all sorts of horrible shit happened to us, and we had to sacrifice blood to a blood god.
They do like that.
Yeah,
that'd be sweet.
I'm amazed that we survived, but there was a particularly great moment where we were doing our watches throughout the night, and one guy was awake while everyone else was asleep, but he was trying to watch over everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, there was supposed to be 2 of them, but one of the guys fell asleep, but the other guy stayed awake and failed his sanity check or his save or whatever he had to make while the guy fell asleep. And he saw a wooden mannequin shamble into the room and drag Vince's character away. And then Vince's character walks back in, looks at him, winks, and goes back to sleep. So we didn't know whether or not he was gone or replaced by a doppelganger the entire campaign.
Was this D&D based or was this a separate game?
It was D&D. Yeah, it was run in like D&D 5th edition, but it could have been adapted for pretty much anything.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was a good time.
What was the other Fiasco?
Fiasco.
Fiasco.
I haven't done a Fiasco in a minute. Those are always so fun.
That's a one night event.
Yeah.
Also putting this out there for anybody who wants to go to a haunted house. I'm looking for somebody who won't shit their pants, or at least doesn't mind shitting their pants.
I'll shit my pants.
Scare House is set up in the Pittsburgh Mills now.
Yes. Oh my God, it's in the Mills now?
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting. Oh.
And I feel bad because they like posted their advertisements for this year and people just like shit on them.
Really?
Because last year they're still under COVID restrictions.
So they were under COVID restrictions and they had all that mess with transitioning into the strip district, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So they're like, oh, it sucks now since it's not the I'm like, it can only be so scary when the monsters can't go near you and there's like, I'm over here.
Yeah. I'm sure it's going to be different this year to some extent. They'll probably also, I'm hoping they're also requiring all the performers to have the bivariant booster or whatever.
Yeah, do that. It sucks, but do it.
I'm getting mine next week.
It's not as bad as the last one. It's just it sucks.
That's what I'm crossing my fingers for that because the second one hit. I think the first one really hit me the worst. Yeah. The second one hit me kind of hard. Becca got laid out by the second one. Yeah, it hits everybody differently.
Yeah.
I'm gonna refresh my city water. Do you need city water?
We'll top me off.
Yeah, top you off.
Weller. What? Hey, Joe. RoboCop's going to be in the episode with Panos Cosmatos.
RoboCop?
Yeah. I was like, Peter Weller.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I immediately imagined like actual RoboCop, not the actor.
Right. The character RoboCop will be in will be portraying H.P. Lovecraft and
I am here for your sanity.
Looks like a familiar name as well. Oh, I love that guy. Tim Blake Nelson.
Oh yeah. Wow, what do I recognize his name from? Shit.
He's in a bunch of shit, but I think he's in The Brother War Art Thou.
Yes. Yeah, he absolutely is. I feel like I saw him in something recently. What the hell did I see him in recently?
Great character.
Watchmen. The Watchmen TV series on HBO. Right. I'm pretty sure he was in that.
Oh, yeah. Was he the creepy ass one? Or am I thinking of different characters?
He was the no, he wasn't the creepy ass one. He was the detective that would put on that mirror mask.
Yeah, the creepy ass one.
Oh, okay. Sorry. For a second, I thought you meant Lube Boy, who would lube himself up and slide into sewers.
That's just helpful.
Oh God!
I need to rewatch that show.
It's so good. I really liked it.
It sounded like such a stupid idea, but then they somehow made it.
They made it awesome. Work, man, because they leaned into the original comics and like actually made it good continuity wise.
And the dude who is both the Candyman and the Dr. Manhattan.
Yes,
is awesome.
What's that actor's name again?
Oh yeah, I'm not going to try to pronounce that.
Yahya Abdul Mateen II, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
he was in the most recent Matrix movie.
Yeah, he was.
I really hated. He was good, but I hated that movie.
He was the Morpheus, wasn't he? Yeah. Okay.
All right. Ready to jump back in?
I am ready when you are.
I'm not ready.
Well, God damn it.
Oh, before we jump in, do you want to do what kind of order do you want to do for these directors?
That's a good question.
I have it alphabetically and random.
Let's go random.
Great. Bring up that list. Fantastic. All right, hey, welcome back. This is the Halloween to Jamborazamatazz episode of Halloween stuff. If you made it through the first part, you did good. Here we are to talk about directors that do horror that you may not have heard of.
Yeah, so we're actually going to get into the main conceit of what we were doing for this episode, which was the best and worst films done by certain directors.
You could really just start here.
Yeah, if you want, skip to this point if you don't want to hear anything about Jack's bad opinions about Halloween.
You just got to really look past what society tells you to think about Halloween.
Yeah, man.
Ask yourself, which is the best Halloween?
Yeah, wake up, sheeple.
It's obviously Tom Atkins. They go to this secret town where it's owned by the toy company, and it's all secluded and shit. But it's just him and the woman who does the voice of Catwoman in Batman the Animated Series.
And the toy company is reported to be haunted. Well, it turns out it's just the landlord dressed in a spooky outfit, and he would have gotten away with it. Well, wasn't for that meddling Tom Atkins.
Really, it's just the main. Anyway. So we were going to talk about directors that are lesser known, but we're going to start with Jordan Peele.
Okay, yeah, let's start with Jordan Peele. Again, not necessarily lesser known, but maybe have a lesser footprint in horror, and also just aren't white dudes. So Jordan Peele, if you have not seen any of his work, fix that. Watch his stuff. Yeah. It's so fucking good. Director of Get Out, Us, and most recently, Nope.
Yeah, I'm irritated by people who don't like his movies, just flat out don't like them. In fact, that's how I feel about anyone who doesn't like a movie. If you just say I don't like it, why?
There's got to be a reason there for why you don't like it.
I thought Halloween Resurrection was fucking garbage, and I can tell you why. But I didn't just say it sucked.
I just didn't
like it. Why?
Yeah, that's always frustrated me how people will go like, no, I just didn't like it. It didn't suit my personal taste. Well, why didn't it suit your personal taste? Like, interrogate that a little bit. Look in, like, why do you feel the way you feel about things? Just a little bit.
Huh. And that goes the same way in reverse too. Like, if you really liked a movie,
why? Yeah, why did you really like a thing? Like, hell, Hot Fuzz is arguably propaganda. You know why I fucking love it? Because the writing is extremely tight and it's funny as fuck.
Yeah.
And is more subversive than people might think.
The editing's pretty sweet.
The editing's really, so good in it, yeah. But anyway, neither here nor there, not a horror movie.
There is that one part where
I could have pulled Shaun of the Dead.
Why? Yeah, you could have.
There's a part where Timothy Dalton gets that tiny, the tiny village spire jammed through his mouth. Really that terrible. Is arguably some horror shit, even accompanied by some cheesy theremin.
Hot Fuzz, not a horror movie, except for 10 seconds.
Except for like 10 seconds. Now I want some ice cream.
Yeah. Jordan Peele has done 3 movies, which was the limit we were going for.
Yes.
He's also done some TV stuff. But
he has done some TV stuff. He was responsible for the resurrection of the Twilight Zone, which mixed reviews.
I'll have some opinions.
I have not seen any of it, so
I've watched 4 episodes.
Okay.
3. Counting's hard. So best and worst Jordan Peele.
I think best is Get Out, at least in my opinion.
Yeah. It's most of the people on this list. I do not have a problem rating best and worst. His, I'm like, well, it depends on. I mean, maybe but this one seems really like
that's the thing. Like, they're all really good fucking movies. I think the only thing that trips me up a little bit is like the question of whether or not you consider Nope to be a horror film. Which I think there's an argument that it's more of like a psychological thriller.
Sure.
But that's a fine line, right?
If I was intellectually arguing whether or not it was a horror film, I could do that. Personally, it's a fucking horror film because it scared me.
Sure. I mean, that chimp was horrifying.
The chimp was terrifying, and the creature. I won't spoil this one because it's so new.
Sure. Yeah. We'll avoid big spoilers for Nope here.
But the creature, as we see more and more of it, becomes almost cosmically upsetting.
Yes. On like a Final Fantasy level, I kind of feel, which for some people that might seem stupid, and for other people that might sound great.
Well, if you think it sounds stupid, you've not played enough Final Fantasy.
I agree.
Those monsters, like especially your like end game monsters, are fucking terrifying.
Yeah. Shit gets nuts.
Was it Reverse Sephiroth is?
Oh. Yeah,
but it's like that. It's not like you're like leaf eaters. It's more like
Kefka. You have to say Kefka.
There's not any clowns in this one.
No, there were no clowns in this one. There was opportunity for clowns.
They could have easily fit
a clown into that like Old West like tourist trap town that Stephen Yeun's character has. There are tons of room for clowns there, but there were no clowns.
Did I say I got one of those little dolls?
No, you didn't tell me that. Yeah. Oh my god, fantastic. See Nope. Just
he describes it as his version of Jaws, which makes sense.
I get that. I absolutely get that.
It's like reverse Jaws. It's in the air instead of the water.
He's flying Jaws.
Flying Jaws.
It's Jaws. It's swimming Nope.
Get Out is also fantastic. That's kind of been talked about to death.
I think Us is probably the most controversial of his works, where because Cam, who sent us a voicemail, that it said flat out that Us is his least favorite Jordan Peele movie, which I think I can see an argument for that being the weakest of them, but I really enjoyed it. Like,
I want to rewatch it because I think I first watched it with you.
Yeah.
It was right after Get Out, and my expectations were so high.
That's true.
And the story's a little bit more convoluted.
I think, there's definitely some convolution to worry about there. Performances, I think, were fantastic in it.
No problem with the performances.
There was some criticism of Lupita Nyong'o's choice of her doppelganger character's voice, because she was mimicking an actual voice condition that is like beyond people's capability to control, and it's kind of othering somebody who has something they can't control about themselves.
Okay. I thought people were just like annoyed with it. I thought it was an interesting choice.
If separating it from like the real world implications of people who do talk that way beyond their control, yeah, it was an interesting choice and definitely helps separate the doppelganger character from spoilers for us. They're them's doppelgangers.
Yeah, if you've seen the trailer, you probably picked up on
it. I mean, yeah, it's not easy to hide. They're not really trying to hide it. Yeah. I loved everything about her performance in and of itself, but like that is kind of a troubling choice. Like she like any kind of like sensitivity training or sensitivity like coaching could have probably like helped guide that choice in a different direction, or to where it was still distinct but not like having these other implications.
Gotcha.
But
so yeah, Get Out and Nope, it just depends on like the day and time of day as far as what I like more, like what I'm in the mood for.
Sure.
And Us I still think is good. So moving on to
I do want to say real quick, I do in the back of my head have some like additional brownie points for Nope, just because it made Logan Paul really mad.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil why, because again, this movie's very recent, but it's real easy to tell why when it happens.
Right. Earmuffs, because I don't remember. Earmuffs people.
Earmuffs people. Yeah, don't listen. Okay. So momentary major spoiler for a portion of Nope, and then we'll get out of it, and I'll tell you when. When the fucking YouTuber motorcycles into their grand plan to trap the monster. Yeah.
Why'd they make him mad?
But because it's a YouTuber going out of his way to like try and get footage of something that he has nothing to do with.
So
it's very much inspired by like Logan Paul going into the Japanese suicide forest, and just like filming dead bodies and shit.
Oh, so he knows what he did is wrong and saw it on screen and realized, oh, they're making fun of me for doing a wrong thing.
Yup. Yeah, not directly making fun of him for doing a wrong thing, but definitely making fun of him for doing a wrong thing.
It's almost like he should have known better.
He should have known better, yeah.
You may remove your earmuffs.
Yeah, spoilers for Nope are now over.
Moving on to one that's a little bit more controversial. Takashi Miike.
Takashi Miike. Okay, so I'm interested to hear what you have to say about Takashi Miike's work, because I've literally only watched one movie of his for this episode. Sure. This is my only exposure to him, and I picked the movie that seemed like the most notable of his, or the one that I've heard people talk about the most, which was Ichi the Killer. Yeah. And I did not enjoy it.
I would probably be a little worried if you did say you really enjoyed it.
Yeah, honestly.
So when I watched, I've watched maybe like 4 or 5 of his projects. He's on our list of movie directors. He's done the most work. He
is a prolific filmmaker in horror and in other genres. Yeah. Just he is a massive resume.
Like, we're going to talk about Wes Craven. He's done way more than Wes Craven.
Yes.
So the first thing I watched of his was Audition, which is probably the one I would have recommended you watch.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. I don't really remember much of it. I remember the ending. That's about it. It's in comparison to Ichi the Killer, it's definitely the dude. Like,
see, that's the thing, is like even as I've been reading up on some of his other stuff, like it just seems like and we talked about this a little bit before we started recording, that he has such a varied style that he like there's no really pinning down like what makes a typical Miike film.
Other than making you upset.
He does aim to make you uncomfortable, for sure.
That I could even say that for a fact, because not all of his stuff is horror.
Yeah.
But of the things I've watched, the thing that he has in common is making you upset by the things he does to the human body.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'll break it down worst to best. So there was a series called Masters of Horror, which was like very hit and miss.
Yeah.
John Carpenter does an episode called Cigarette Burns, which I really enjoy.
Okay.
Very out of the norm kind of stuff that John Carpenter would typically write about or direct. But I really liked it.
Okay.
So Takashi Miike has an episode called Imprint, and I hated it.
Oh no.
quite a bit, to the point where I'm like, I started this journey kind of liking and being excited about watching his films, and then by the time I'd watch this, I'm like, I don't want to see anything else.
Oh God,
it's just straight body torture and like really awful towards women, and which is kind of like runs through his work. Like
that was one of my biggest problems with Ichi the Killer. Is it's like there's so many rape scenes.
Yeah, it's so when I watched Audition, I didn't really like put his name to it.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I watched Ichi the Killer, I wasn't watching it as a horror movie. I was watching it as a transgressive film.
Okay, sure.
Because that was a phase I was going through, I guess.
Sure.
And it does check that box heavily.
Yeah.
I don't really see it as a horror film so much as like, this is a movie that's going to upset you.
There are horror elements, I think, but they're also not really played into all that deeply. Like some of it is largely what I like to call anime bullshit. Where like the main antagonist, like, he has those lip rings that are like really weirdly placed.
Yeah.
Like they don't look very good in a live action setting. No. But then he takes them off for that one moment. It's the only time he ever does it in the entire fucking movie, to expand his entire jaw like a fucking snake, and he like eats a dude's hand.
Yeah.
And like that scene, like effects wise, didn't look too good, but also was one of the better moments in the film, I think, and I wish they had played with that a little bit more.
I'm curious to know when that movie. I want to say like 2001.
It was 2001. Yeah.
Was it? Okay.
For Ichi the Killer specifically?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 2001.
I would be curious to know if it was originally a manga. I don't think it's anime. I think it might have been a manga.
That could be worth looking into. I think like in the way that some of the characters play up their facial expressions, and also in some of the very overt anime bullshit that happens. So, the guy getting cut in half vertically very early in the film is one.
I didn't watch it that long ago, but for some reason I can't remember most of it. But the part that stuck with me as being awful to watch was the guy being suspended from the ceiling.
Oh yeah, that's rough for me. I don't do well with suspension to begin with. If you're not familiar, it's like the idea of like hanging yourself up bodily by hooks in your skin, which some people are super into as just like a form of like bodily exploration and experimentation, and some people are into it for kink shit,
right?
Which I'm not kink shaming. Be into it if you're into it for that reason. Cool. It's not for me.
The two times I've seen it portrayed in cinema was both as like a horror thing.
Yeah.
The other one being, I think, The Cell.
It does get brought up in The Cell. Also, the entirety of Hellraiser.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true. I was just like, yeah, I guess that whole movie is just
that is where that shit comes from, for sure.
Which we'll get to. So I didn't enjoy Ichi the Killer, but I found it really interesting in that it's so vastly different than what I would typically watch in a movie.
Yeah.
Like at some point you've watched so many movies. I watch about at least 12 movies a month. I'm up to 22 so far.
Jesus Christ.
Partially because of this episode.
Yeah, I think I've seen because of this episode, I'm definitely like above my normal quota. But I think normally I'm at like 4.
I've got a problem. I also don't watch a lot of TV.
See, I watch more TV than I do movies, I think, normally. But I think between this show and just like wanting to watch more movies, I've been doing that.
You just kind of get to a point where you want to see something different.
This is different.
It's definitely that.
It's it's real fucking different.
So worst imprint, hated it. The one up from that is The Happiness of the Katakuris, which was
you were mentioning this earlier. What is it about Happiness of the Katakuris?
It's been such a long time since I've watched it. Actually, it was brought to my attention by Pirate Scott. He was like, hey, "You gotta watch this movie."
Keep bringing up Pirate Scott. We're gonna have to get him on the show.
Yeah. It's just like a goofy ass kind of like Japanese family comedy until the end when there's like claymation demons. It just takes like such a hard left. You're like, what? the only one I haven't talked about, and probably the one I enjoy the most, there's a anthology film called Three Extremes.
Oh, you told me about this.
Yeah.
You mentioned that like some of this was particularly hard to watch.
Yeah.
But Mike only does one portion of it.
So he didn't do the one that I
really didn't like. Yeah.
There's one, the very first one's called Dumpling, and it's been expanded into a full-length feature, which I cannot imagine getting through.
That one, I think there's like a lot of horrible shit with
I don't do well with horror and food combined.
Yeah.
And that's exclusively what it is. It was called Dumpling.
Yeah.
The second one I also enjoyed, and it's by the guy who directed Old Boy, which
right.
Now that we're on this side of the project, I probably would have chosen to do him instead of Takashi Miike.
Okay.
Oops.
Hey, next year.
Yeah. His was really interesting because it was about this like super nice film director who gets kidnapped by an extra that just happened to be in a bunch of his films.
Oh wow!
And just like hates him for being such a nice guy, and then traps him on the set that they were just filming on.
Oh wow!
Which is an exact copy of his house. It's a lot of body torture, but it's also kind of funny.
Interesting.
And it's a play. Like it's a straight up play.
Okay.
Which I really like.
Yeah. I can get down on that.
But Takashi Miike's is again not good towards women. So if that's your thing, don't.
Unfortunate recurring theme in his shit. Just
it was also the only one that we've watched that I actually was like, oh, that's kind of scary.
Okay. So effective as horror.
Effective as horror. It also has a lot of the imagery I like, so like circus, sideshow type stuff.
So there were clowns in this one.
No, just contortionists.
Well, okay. Definitely cinematically interesting.
Yeah. And it doesn't, unlike Imprint, where it just like shows stuff. This one is more suggestive, which I find to be more effective than just showing it.
Yes.
Like I've been playing Silent Hill 2 for the first time.
Yeah.
I'm very upset, but they also aren't showing anything really.
Yeah. When you can make it like atmospheric and have it just like in the periphery, you know it's happening, you know there's something horrible, but it's not front and center. Yeah. I think that can be so fucking effective, just scaring the shit out of you.
Yeah. So so the segment's called Box. Because the contortionist box, you know.
Oh, sure.
It has like dream imagery, it has like circus imagery, it has like really good just like J horror moments.
Okay.
Yeah. Just like I would probably watch it again. The rest of his stuff, probably not.
Okay. Yeah. Cam, who sent us a message, also said that Ichi the Killer was his least favorite of Miike's work. Just say
watch Imprint. He'll change his opinion.
He might change his opinion. Yeah. Okay. I will say, for as much as I did not like Ichi the Killer, it's some interesting cinematic choices. Like there was some definitely Miike knows how to frame a shot. I will give him that.
Yes. Yeah. Box was probably one of the better shot things that I've watched for this project.
Neat.
I will watch some of his other stuff because I'm curious because he has so much out there. He's also known for One Missed Call, which is one of the better known J horror films of when was that genre? Like 2000s, early 2000s?
Yeah.
Like The Ring.
Oh, yeah.
I forget the original title for Grudge. June, I think.
I don't know.
Anyway, that genre.
Sure. The creepy wet kid genre.
Right. What is that movie called? The creepy wet kid.
Omen?
No, I mean,
it's one of them.
He's pretty dry.
He is. Yeah, no, that's fair.
It's like dark water. That's what it is.
Dark water.
Yeah,
okay. Jesus.
Not a pervert way, you pervert. Just in a gross ghost way.
Yeah.
Hey, let's talk about a different director.
Yes. Let's move on.
I'm jumping between my two lists because one's in rank order and the other one's in like chronological order.
Okay.
All right. Hey, next we have Karen Kusama.
Okay, cool. So she's known for The Invitation, Jennifer's Body,
fucking Aeon Flux.
And Aeon Flux, yeah. Which Tabby from the Happy Hour podcast who wrote in specifically mentioned Aeon Flux as her least favorite, as the worst.
And she's right.
I've not seen her take on Aeon Flux.
So and she doesn't like it either. It's one of the times where the studio took it out of her hands and recut it.
Oh, it's one of those. Okay.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
She has done more. She's done other movies that are not horror, like Aeon Flux is not horror.
Right.
Which, if you haven't watched the original MTV cartoon, do it. It's really interesting. It's bizarre, but it's really interesting.
It's weird to say MTV cartoon, but I know that's right.
I forgot what that block was called, like Liquid something.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not quite that old. So her first film was Girl Fight, which is like a boxing movie with Michelle Rodriguez. So
yeah.
None of those things sound interesting to me. But then again, Raging Bull doesn't sound interesting to me on paper, and it's great.
It's great, yeah.
She also did some episodes of Yale Word, Man in the High Castle, Master of Sex. She's done a lot. She's done more TV work than she's done film.
Okay.
But as far as ranking goes for me, and I wanted to specifically do her because over the last couple of years, Jennifer's Body's been reevaluated.
Yeah, because I remember it being kind of widely panned when it first came out.
I thought it was stupid.
Which I'm not entirely sure how much of this movie is I don't know if it's more influenced by Karen Kusama's directing or Diablo Cody's writing.
Right, yeah.
Because it is very distinctly a Diablo Cody movie as well. But
Diablo Cody of Juno and some TV stuff I can't remember.
Yeah, like the quippiness of it definitely comes across as Diablo Cody, and a lot of the world building, I think, of it comes across as her as well. But the horror elements of this, I feel like, are really well executed and I feel like that's more Kusama.
I agree. Yeah. I remember watching this when it first came out, and the biggest issue with it was marketed as Megan Fox hot.
Yeah, I do remember a lot of the marketing being that.
And I watched it with my then partner, and she loved it because she got it because she was a femme. Is a femme.
Yeah,
was a femme then as well, and had like dealt with the shitty boys of that time.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm like, I mean, Megan Fox is hot. Movie, not good. Watching it now, I'm like, oh.
I really enjoyed watching it this time. Yeah, like I think I had watched it earlier, but it might have been one of those things where it was like on at a party and I didn't pay close attention to it. But like this time I sat down and I watched it intentionally. I was like, yeah, this is actually really good. Like the scene that she set that she's creating, the world that she's creating feels very real and very true to the time as well. Like it is super fucking
Brody.
Oh my god, fucking Adrian Brody.
He plays a douchebag so well.
He plays in like there's something just like really like, yeah, I get it, buddy, about like, man, you know, indie bands these days that look like us are a fucking dime a dozen. It's like, yeah, they sure were, huh?
Yeah,
There's just like there's this element, like I look at you guys and it's like, oh man, you look like members of Boys Like Girls and Cute Is What We Aim For formed a fucking super group. Just it is bonkers how accurate they nailed that aesthetic and how much of the movie plays into that as well, into like those various kind of like high school, early college subcultures.
Having some distance between that time period and now helped a lot.
Oh yeah,
because it wasn't that long ago that, like, when the movie had initially come out.
Yeah,
not that much time had passed. Where it's like now I can look back and be, oh yeah, that was fucking stupid. There's a net.
Yeah, there is.
Fucking with us.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like there was something that really deeply nostalgically satisfying for me for like that one like shot where they like kind of crane in on Jennifer. She's just kind of like waiting in a field after she has become possessed and everything, and there's just like fucking metalcore riffs playing over the camera and just trucking in on her. I'm just like, this fucking rules. It's a completely unnecessary, except, I mean, it's building the drama for what she's about to do to this football player.
Yeah.
But like, Like, there's something. It would be hilarious for so many people, but for me, it's just like, oh, that hit the spot in a way.
Yeah. So, what the marketing fucked up, and it's really heartbreaking to hear. There's this interview from not too long ago with Megan Fox, and I think it's Diablo Cody. It's Diablo Cody.
Yeah,
talking about making this movie, and the day where her and Amanda Seyfried shot the scene where they make out, which is really important for their character development.
It is,
but they're like, oh, we just shot the trailer. Like, that's how they're gonna market this.
Yeah, and that's unfortunately what they did. Like, they pulled like a lesbian chic kind of hot bullshit, like softcore bullshit kind of marketing a tactic, and it does the movie a fucking disservice. Like,
no, they don't even show Amanda Seyfried really in the marketing.
No, and she's like the main fucking character.
Yeah, and a phenomenal actress.
Yes.
So, God, it's one of those movies I wish that I had just walked into it completely blind.
Yes.
So if you have not watched Jennifer's Body in a while,
give it another shot.
Give it another shot. Ignore the poster that still just shows Megan Fox being hot.
Yeah. Give it another go. Just try to set any previous expectations or marketing bullshit aside and just watch it for what it is.
Yeah.
So I guess best and worst. What we've already established, Aeon Flux like takes worse for it. Yeah. I mean, when the director has those kind of things to say about it, like, listen to them.
I think that. So real quick, just running through like what all I've watched of hers. I watched Jennifer's Body. She did a couple episodes of The Outsider, which is a Stephen King adaptation.
Yes.
She did a segment of XX, which is a.
Oh yeah, you did tell me about that.
Yeah. Generally didn't care for the film. Her segment was okay. There was a segment by St. Vincent that I was really hoping would be awesome. It wasn't horror was the problem.
Like,
it's like, it's funny. It's dark comedy.
Okay. I mean, I can get down on that.
But... Yeah. It wasn't a waste of my time, but also wasn't impressed.
Sure. Wasn't what you were looking for.
Correct. And then she did The Invitation.
Yes. Was it 2015 or 2016?
Something like that.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth a watch. I don't know what it is that is missing that it needed, because I enjoyed it, but I should have enjoyed it more because it had all the stuff that I like, right? Like, it has like a singular enclosed location with a lot of interpersonal relationships.
Because these synopsis of like a guy going to his ex's house for a dinner party and like suspecting they're going to do something horrible. It seems really interesting.
I think what's missing is that the side characters needed more subplots. It's weird for me to be like, it needed more subplots, but it needed more subplots. Because the main character is just like, I don't believe you. You're an asshole. And I'm like, you're probably not wrong, but also an hour and a half of you just saying that until you're right.
Yeah.
Is whatever. Whereas like some of the other actors in it are pretty solid. So give them something to do.
Yeah.
But it was enjoyable. I think Jennifer's Body is my favorite.
Okay.
It has all the things you would want in a horror movie. It has meaning behind the scenes. It has quippy dialogue. It has some pretty rough gore.
It does have some pretty rough gore. Yeah. Overall, I felt like the gore and blood effects and everything were really well done in this movie as well.
Yeah. Those cards that they have the test audience fill out afterwards. I think Diablo Cody was talking. I think she said she still has the card that was written by. They had only shown it to boys. God. The boy was like, "More titties." And they're none. They're none.
That's
not what the movie's about.
It's not what the movie's about. There shouldn't have been.
No. They keep, and once she pointed that out, she's like, "We keep almost showing you a boob, and then we don't, because it's not the point.
So it's not the point.
We're trying to, anyway, character something. Who is next? Oh, good. My least favorite person we covered.
Is this Mary Harron?
Yeah.
Okay.
So disappointed.
Because I've only ever seen American Psycho,
which I love.
Yeah, great movie. Is definitely in among the pantheon of films that men misunderstand.
My God, I remember freshman year hanging out with it. I'm not going to say who it is, but a friend in our friend group was like, "Come over to my dorm, watch American Psycho." Nobody talked like that.
Yeah,
like freshmen, and we watched that and Fight Club, and he's like, "Coolest dudes ever," right? I'm like, I enjoy both these movies, but I feel like for different movies, different reasons.
Yeah, I feel like we're watching these very, very differently.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew a guy in college like that as well.
He used to be a twig, like when I knew him, like very tall, thin.
Yeah.
Jacked now for some reason.
Wow. Cool.
Probably just really took that Jason Bateman routine to
Patrick Bateman.
Jason Bateman.
There's
got to be a deep fake somewhere.
I hope so. Oh my god. I'm just imagining Patrick Bateman as the crab from Thunder Force.
Jesus Christ. With that like clear raincoat. Gross. So Mary Herron is one that did. We only had 3 options for her stuff.
We did, yes.
It's American Psycho, The Moth Diaries, and then she did an episode of this thing called Fear Itself, a YouTube original series. Fuck me.
I mean, YouTube original series are already.
I didn't know it was. I mean, I assumed like, of course they did, but I also didn't know that, and then I watched it, and like the opening alone pissed me off, just like the opening credits.
Sure.
Where it's a lot of like cross-fading to washed out images of spooky shit.
Sure. Yeah.
And like you are the like anal runoff of Tales from the Crypt. Like I hate you so much for existing. And I watched it. It was called Community.
Wait.
Written by Dan Harmon. Not scary at all.
Hilarious and thought-provoking, though. Yeah, I had a good time with it. Chevy Chase was weird, but...
Damn it. It was called Community because they want to move into like a community. It's like, I want to say it's as bad as like a Hallmark original, but from my understanding, there's actually some decent Hallmark original horror, and this was not that. It made me so mad that I refused to watch her other movie, The Moth Diaries. So I have a best and worst and nothing in between because fuck you.
Wow, it was that bad for you.
I was so mad.
God damn.
Yeah. It has Brandon Roth.
Brandon Roth, really?
They made Superman. Well, he's an okay actor, but like,
yeah,
it was not good. It was not good. I was mad and it was dumb.
They made the third Evil X from Scott Pilgrim be bad.
Yeah. They put him in a dramatic role, and he's kind of meh. And they're like, the community's evil.
How are they going to do Dylan Dog that way?
Your knowledge of Brandon Roth is unnerving. I'm moving on. Fuck you, Aaron.
I will say, Tabby from Happy Hour podcast also did not like.
She took the bullet.
Well, she watched Moth Diaries. She said Moth Diaries was hands down her least favorite there, and also American Psycho was her favorite. So
of the option of 2.
Of the option of 2, yeah,
2.5.
2.5, and you let that half sink the whole rest of it.
Yeah,
it was that bad.
Awful.
All right. What do you say we take another quick break here before we get into the last of our directors?
Let's do that.
I am desperately hungry.
I've got some plain bagels.
I would absolutely have some plain bagels.
Right.
Yeah.
That grocery revenge sent the wrong order. And
no.
Wrong. They're like, here's a gallon of milk that you can't drink.
No.
And some bagels.
No, I hate when that shit happens. But I will gladly eat some of the bagels.
There's also a box of Diet Coke, which I didn't drink all of.
Nice.
You want me to toast it or anything?
No, I'll just eat it dry. Dry and cold.
It occurs to me that I did the exact the exact thing I said I would not do.
And what was that?
Say that I hated the thing, but I'll explain why. I didn't say Brandon Roth was a terrible actor in it, but
I think you
pass that plain bagel over here. I'm gonna get that plain bagel at ASMR going. I'm fucking this bag. You do this to yourself.
I'm doing it to whoever's listening right now as well. I'm sorry.
I don't like bagels.
Huh?
I don't like bagels. What am I doing?
I love bagels. Yeah, but these are not good bagels.
No.
But like
I'll fuck up a good everything bagel with cream cheese. Hell yeah. But who the fuck? Whoever's order this is, I got some words for you. Also, I hope you enjoyed my almond milk, you ass.
I got some oat milk.
I was so excited because I ordered these Reese's cookies. I'm like, I'm gonna
No!
Reese's cookies up and
Oh
watch
my
this cookie movie. So I got like Diet Coke and bagels.
This is not at all what.
No.
Man, they revenge delivery really fucked up.
Yeah. It's almost like it's in the title. Smell weird. I'm good. Get 1/4 of that plain ass bagel.
Oh my god. Yeah, I had some Reese's Puffs for breakfast, and then I did not eat anything. Well, and some coffee. And I did not eat anything after that. That was a mistake.
I had some Wheaties that the dude that was staying with us left. Yeah,
Nice.
it was Wheaties. So, probably poop good for everybody.
How are things in Instagram land?
A couple people. We only want to. We got Podcast Hill, which I'm not familiar with. I'll put them later. And Sergio, who's Kate Bianco's husband.
Oh, neat.
I think he's secretly to me a nerd. I'm sure his friends know that he's a nerd.
Sure.
I feel like we saved the best for last. Not, well, excluding Jordan Peele.
Yeah.
We could probably do an entire episode on the different cuts of Nightbreed. Because it's one of those films where it's just been recut and recut and recut. Want to see my Bane?
Yeah.
My Bane.
There's a good Bane. Holy shit.
Yeah, I can't know today. Here's my Bane. I'm a child. Yeah,
is that like Batman Arkham Bane?
No, it's Nightfall.
Okay.
It's McFarlane Toys scale. So like their figures are all 7-inch scale.
Yeah.
So then whatever that is for Batman. So Batman probably like come up to here.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta make them bigger.
Yeah.
It's good detail.
Yeah.
Let me see. Hungry.
I think they did release an Arkham one as well.
I hope so. I really like that Bane. This is excellent, though. Oh my god. The tactical pockets.
He does come with quite a
giant butt pockets. Look at that ass.
They did his ass service.
Oh, man. His toe is posable.
Yeah, McFarlane Toys does not screw around with their articulation.
Yeah, like that's awesome. Well, you get like the bend in the boot. That's I've never seen that before. I like the leather detail on the mask. That's excellent.
Burn.
I think I need to house another bagel.
I got like jam or something. You just want plain big.
I wouldn't say no to some jam, actually. Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. I'm not enjoying my plain bagel, but I think I also have peanut butter if you. You can only have one. You can't have both.
Peanut butter. Can you grab me one of those drinks you don't like as well?
Nah,
that was the last one. Okay.
I got some plain milk for you.
You know what? Yeah, I'll drink that. My apologies to anybody who's still watching and is looking forward to just talking about more horror stuff. I really needed to take a break. I could feel myself like dying.
Well, now I'm slightly concerned because it's missing.
The milk?
The milk, which means Belinda did something with it. But she also can't drink regular milk.
That's alarming.
Yeah. The fuck?
It's not in this fridge up here for some reason, is it?
DeRazzled's picnic hour.
Oh, thank you.
Jam and knife.
Well, thanks.
There's your soy or almond.
Yeah. Oh, thank you very much.
I can use the bathroom. Yeah. So while you're eating your mistake bagel, I'm gonna rant about something I was thinking about last night. Because I've watched something like 20 horror movies this month, and like one scared me. Was scary, not scared me. But... And I was thinking, like, okay, well, what kind of horror scares me? Because it's not Mike Myers, it's not werewolves or vampires or any of that stuff.
I keep every time you say Mike Myers, I keep picturing Austin Powers as a peeper in the Halloween movies, and it just makes me very happy. Go on.
He would probably have improved a couple of them. I think it's imagery.
Imagery, okay.
So the Takashi Miike segment box doesn't have any like jump scares or monsters or anything other than the human monster.
Sure,
but
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and there's some like J horror ghostiness.
Yeah, to be expected.
But it's more the ghost is like jumping out or scaring you or anything. It's just like, oh, there's the legs of a dead girl hanging from the top of an elevator. That's terrifying.
Sure.
And thinking about horror films that I like, maybe excluding The Thing. The Thing was, I don't even think the Thing scares me so much as it's just like really interesting.
Yeah.
Whereas like The Shining, the imagery that I can't wrap my head around is scarier. Dog giving a blowjob.
You say dog giving a man a blowjob. Horrifying.
Horrifying. I'm like, what? Pardon me?
Also, that dog's well dressed. What is this?
Yeah. I think oftentimes I'll see music videos that are more scary to me than movies.
Yeah. Which is a weird thing to think about, but yeah, I can kind of see that.
Like some of like the 9 Inch Nails videos are way scarier to me than werewolves or not that I don't like those movies. Like I love those movies, but I'm not scared by them.
Sure.
I think the exception is probably Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer. Like that one is like genuinely I am upset by that. But that's also based on a true story.
Yeah. So... like they're like it is Henry Lee Lucas was actually a really fucking scary guy.
Yeah. And even with The Ring, the part that I think's the scariest is the weird ass fucking video that they watch, which is just a series of surreal images. And what's her name? So the girl. I'm trying to remember her name.
Samara.
Yeah. Her is an actual like monster, not scary. The image of her crawling out of shit, terrifying.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if there's a bit of a divide between traditional horror fans and what has been, I think, inappropriately addressed as highbrow horror. That's your like The Witch, Hereditary, Midsummer, the A24 horror movies.
Sure.
And you're like Halloween's, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, those movies that are also like are horror but are not considered like highbrow, which I think is unfair. I enjoyed both of them. I think movies like Hereditary scare me more, but I think that those also rely more on imagery, and possibly that's why people didn't like Rob Zombie's Halloween as much. Besides it not being the Mike Myers they were expecting it to be, he relies a little bit more on imagery, especially in the second one. That fucking horse. Like there's a scene that is like straight out of the music video where I think Laurie's hallucinating a like banquet of like weird shit, like creature monsters eating shit, and there's also a lot of Mike Myers is on screen at the same time as his child equivalent is. And
that's weird.
It is. I like it though because it kind of shows like, oh, Mike Myers has a maturity. Like he is still that little boy. Which to me it actually makes him scarier than like, oh, he's a big dumb guy in a suit that's real strong.
It's more like, he's suffered something that has arrested his development to this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it could have been shown better, but again, money, budget.
Yeah. I mean, when you're actively being denied the resources to do that,
the other issue is, and this is just like logistics, the kid who plays young Mike in the first movie is fantastic. Like, so he's unnerving. He's a good actor. He looks the part, but hormones occur and he grew up.
Oh, he Daniel Radcliffe.
So they had to replace him.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Okay.
And the second kid is like, he's fine. But like that first kid was
real good.
And I think if they had been able to use him for the second movie,
would have been a lot different.
Yeah. It still would have been a little weird to like see both of them on screen where it's just like, I know it's one actor standing in front of another actor.
Yeah.
With nothing screen magic-y to differentiate. But that is my thought on movies and why they scare Jack.
Neat.
Some good B-roll content for you while you eat your bagel.
Yes. Oh.
Okay. Just gonna take a little bite myself. Yeah, don't hate it. Bleached bread. My favorite.
Oh, Christ.
A whole lot of coffee.
No.
Just city wire. So what scares Joe? If mine's surreal imagery.
God.
And dogs give him blowjobs.
What does scare me?
Bad CGI anime bullshit.
I just get real scared of like dudes turn into jelly.
It's pretty upsetting.
It was upsetting in a way. It's not a good effect. I don't know. I've never really been able to quite pin this down because like as scary as like a slasher can be for some people, it's like the jump scare shit, like I'll jump, I'll react, but it's not like I don't find that like existentially terrifying or anything like that. Like it's like, I was like, God damn it. I think what really scares me, I think, is more like surrealist stuff can do it, but I think it's more like existential level, like ethereal, like you don't know what's truly happening.
Like kind of like Silent Hill stuff?
Sort of like that. Yeah, that stuff definitely gets to me.
The monsters are gross, but knowing that they all have the double meaning of wait, that monster with the gash in the middle of it that sucks on your head, that has double meaning, I bet. And I don't like it.
Yep. Oh God. Yeah. Allegorical or metaphorical creatures. Yeah, shit like that can get to you too. When there's meaning, you have to parse out of that shit, and that's when it starts to eat at me.
I think that's what differentiates the Hellraisers I like and I'm scared of versus the ones I don't like.
Yeah,
is when they transition from these have maybe not secret. I wouldn't describe the franchise as subtle. But a lot of imagery, surrealism, some like kink reasons behind it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Straight up like, oh, he's just another slasher monster. He's scary because he's got pins in his face.
Yeah. And he's throwing CDs at you.
He's throwing CDs at you. Like, body torture can only take you so far.
It too easily crosses the line into just torture porn.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just like, and that's hard to watch, but it's not like scary.
Yeah.
Like the idea that you could find yourself in that situation is scary, but like the depiction of it is, it crosses a line into just gross and gratuitous, I think.
It's a good tool to have in your toolbox.
Sure.
But if the horror is only based on the body torture aspect of it, it can only take you so far.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think that having even the movie I watched last night, Honeymoon, there were some torture, like body torture elements that I was like, I was upset, but it was a scene, whereas the rest of the film deals more with we'll get down to it, like the breaking down of like relationships and not, like losing the trust in a person that you used to trust the most.
Sure,
that's way scarier than the body torture thing, but the body torture thing was also very upsetting. But if it had been like 90 minutes of just the body torture, like, I didn't like that. That was basically Imprint by Takashi Miike.
Jesus.
So hey, we've kind of already jumped back in.
We've kind of reestablished getting into these things unintentionally here. So welcome back.
I'll leave that up to you as the editor to decide what stays and what goes.
Yeah.
But if whatever goes, I'm sure we'll end up in
it'd be some deleted scene stuff for sure.
We have, how many directors do we have left?
I think four. Yeah, I think we're halfway through.
Yeah, and I'm excited to talk about all of them.
Yes.
In like a positive way, not in like I hated it. But we'll start with we're already kind of talking about it, but we'll start with Clive Barker.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's jump into Clive.
He's directed 3 films. It's a bummer because I like all of them. And I think he would have, especially with the techniques that we have available to us today as filmmakers, it would have been even cooler.
Yeah.
Do you want to? Who was the one that talked about Clive Barker?
Tabby from a Happy Hour podcast talked about Clive a little bit. She said that her favorite of his was Midnight Meat Train, which I think you pointed out he wrote but didn't direct.
Yes, it's based on one of his stories.
Based on one of his stories. Okay, and then I think was it Hellraiser?
Any of them passed them before?
She said Hellraiser, Revelations.
I think that's one of the last ones. You and I only watched up to the.
We watched the first 4, yeah. Which after that, there's no longer Barker directing, or no, Barker's done directing after one. Yeah.
He was heavily involved in the second one, which is why it still like feels like Clive Barker.
Yeah.
Project. The third one was where it kind of like went off the rails.
Yes.
But the fourth one was interesting, but not good.
I agree. Yeah.
And then, I guess Revelations would have just been based on the characters created by.
Yeah, that was 2011.
Yeah, which I'm very excited about the new one that's coming.
I can't wait. That trailer that got dropped earlier this week looks fantastic.
I'm kind of like what we were just talking about, where the creatures seem to have more meaning than just the face of what you're seeing. Some of the monsters aside from Pinhead look like they have some real dark, surreal meaning behind them, and I'm excited. I
can't wait to try and tamp down my scarediness to dissect that.
I'm only nervous that it's being released directly to Hulu.
Yeah, I want to see it in a fucking theater.
I'm like, are you doing that because Hulu just wants the monies for themselves? I don't know how that works.
I guess it's just that's the deal that was struck. Was this is going to be a Hulu exclusive production. Which is weird considering Hulu is, if not owned by, then has a big old partnership with Disney. But
which is weird to think about.
Yeah.
Itself. But I'm sure we'll talk about that in a future episode.
Probably.
So best and worst. And it's another Jordan Peele situation where I don't dislike any of them.
Yeah.
Hellraiser is my favorite.
The original.
It's
an excellent film. I loved it.
Of the Hellraisers, it's my second favorite. But
Hellraiser 2 was better.
I like it more. It just, you get more into the world of the Cenobites.
Oh my god, yeah. No, that depiction of hell is fantastic. Yeah. I loved everything about it.
And I forget the name of the main, not Pinhead, but the main human antagonist is really
the doctor,
the woman in the white.
Oh my god.
I think she's just bloody the whole time, right? And
she might be
wearing the white outfit.
Yeah.
It's probably not the best choice wardrobe wise, but also fantastic image.
Yeah.
My second would be Lord of Illusions. I really like the world the world he creates.
Mm-hmm.
Scott Bakula as a brooding detective doesn't quite work, but I also really like Scott Bakula, so it works in that I like him. My biggest complaint with the movie is that there's a weird chimp.
Yeah, you're not a fan of chimps.
But not even a scary chimp, just a chimp that's look at this beast that we've brought in to show how exotic this moment is. I'm it's a chimp.
It's a chimp.
It might even be an orangutan, which is even less scary.
That is, definitely less scary than a chimp.
Remember. But after that scene, I'm just nah, I'm into it. And then the movie of his I enjoy the least is Nightbreed, specifically the director's cut.
Okay. Interesting.
I tried to watch the studio cut years ago, and I was I hate this. I'm not watching it. And I didn't. And then I watched the director's cut, and it's way better. You get some David Cronenberg as the villain. Just
wow,
weird and cool.
Yeah, I'll take that.
It's this starstruck lovers who get separated because murder and end up in a weird monster community.
Yeah,
where the monsters have all kind of gone underground because humans suck.
I get it.
And then David Cronenberg is well, I'm gonna get you.
To be fair, David Cronenberg be like that sometimes.
Yeah. But it's just a really, again, Clive Barker, really well developed world. A lot of great makeup effects.
Hell yeah.
I would love to see somebody pick it up and do it as a 6 to 8 episode miniseries where you really get to explore there's an entire underground city that the Nightbreed live in.
Okay.
If the thing that holds it back is the ending gets a little goofballs.
Yeah.
Because it's just how do we end this movie? I guess we'll just have a big fight with guns, and military shit.
It's probably not a satisfying way for that to end.
Nah. I mean, it wasn't awful, but it was just okay, I guess you guys didn't really know how to end this, did you?
Yeah.
So that's my Clive Barker.
All right.
We should do more of this and draw less cats. I do like his cats as well. They're just not very good looking cats.
Are they the kind of cats where you can't tell if he's ever actually seen a cat or?
He's only seen cats through Clive Barker colored glasses.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh no. Horrific. No. All right. So who do we got next?
Next we have Anna Lily Amalfour.
Excellent. Okay. Yeah, I'm excited to talk about her.
This was the movie that I enjoyed the most out of this project.
Same. Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah. A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night from 2014. I knew nothing going into this movie. I had as I started the movie, I had looked it up on Wikipedia and saw the descriptor, Iranian spaghetti Western vampire movie. And I was what the fuck kind of Mad Libs bullshit just got thrown in my eyes? But nope, that's exactly what it is. It's what it says on the cover. And it's so good.
I had expectations going into it, which is one of the reasons I didn't want to watch it initially to begin with. One, it didn't praise the death, which is always hard for me to watch because I'm
sure, overhype is definitely a real thing.
I've told the story a number of times about No Country for Old Men, where it was super overhyped, and I watched it this movie's stupid, and then I watched it later, I'm nah, it's actually really good.
Yep. But because it had been hyped up to you so hard at the time,
I had expectations about what kind of movie it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with this. I had expectations about this being an indie vampire movie.
Yeah.
But the very first scene immediately breaks my understanding what the movie's going to be.
Yeah.
In a great way.
Yeah. It's the guy waiting outside of a fence and steals a cat.
Steals a cat. Like, this is not the movie I was expecting. All right. I'm in.
And that never got explained.
No, he just wanted a cat.
Yeah. It just
they needed a cat for the cat plot device, and he got one. And then it continues to break my expectation by not introducing the titular character for a minute.
Yeah.
But instead showing a kind of douchey drug dealer.
Oh my god, this fucking drug dealer character. I could watch him just do shit for days.
Like, you hate him as a character.
He's a dick. He's a giant fucking asshole.
Fascinating to watch.
Oh my god, yeah.
He invites a girl home, the girl.
Yeah.
Home.
First he like meets up with his his under dealer or whatever. Yeah. And like forces her to blow him.
Yeah,
and then stops when he sees the girl, like the main girl, in his rear view, and then looks back and she's not there anymore. And then runs into her on the street, invites her back to his place where he can play jazz and do blow. And then
lift some weights, right?
And then lifts some weights at her.
That's how you seduce the woman.
Just starts lifting some free weights seductively.
He does offer her some blow.
He does offer her some blow.
I'll give him 1 point in that.
A polite host, I guess. Also has a giant fucking weed leaf tapestry on his back wall. His tattoos are
so
bonkers. He has a Pac-Man tattoo where it's Pac-Man chasing the ghost going down his neck. He has just the word sex written over his Adam's apple. And then when he takes his like tracksuit top off, he has like a whole bunch of tattoos that look real, and then a whole bunch that look like they were just plastered on for the film.
Yeah.
Either that or he had just been freshly tattooed.
He's a amazing character. All the characters are really interesting.
They are. Honestly, like all the characters are so well acted and like well conceived. And there's so little dialogue. It's a feat. Which apparently that's just a feature of some of her films because she is she's partially deaf.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Okay. Anna Lily Amirpour is I think she refers to herself as 30% deaf.
Okay. This, much like her other movie, Bad Batch, are surprisingly funny at parts.
There is I mean the drug dealer in particular, hilarious. You hate him. He absolutely comes across as the asshole that he should come across as, but he is also just a tour of comedic force.
Right.
Like
he takes himself so seriously.
So seriously.
Well, even do they say her name?
I don't think they ever say her name. No.
So the girl is, a vicious vampire. Spoilers.
Yeah.
But then does like silly things.
Like skateboard. Like she steals a skateboard from a kid and just rides that for the rest of the fucking movie. There's that one moment where she's just like standing facing a wall on the skateboard, just going back and forth between parts of the wall. Like, what are you doing? What is happening?
She loves herself some music.
She loves some music, which again I think is pulling from Amirpour's own life because when she and her family moved to Florida, she got real fucking into American music culture, and she was a big Michael Jackson and Madonna fan. Like you see like those posters all over the place.
I have nothing bad to say about this film.
No, it's great. It's one of my favorite movies I've seen in years. Yeah. Like holy shit, I'll watch this 100 times.
It's a movie. It's another movie where I'm like, my only complaint is that I wanted more of it. Like I wanted to spend more time with these characters, which is never a bad complaint.
No.
I wish that I could say the same thing about her second movie.
See, I've not seen The Bad Batch. Sorry, I should just say Bad Batch. The Bad Batch is a Disney Plus Star Wars cartoon.
A little different. I'm assuming less cannibalism.
Wait and see for season 2.
Okay. Well, you got too many clones, I see. You do with clones.
These clones are good eating it.
Yeah. It was an alright movie. It would have helped if I'd not watched the girl Walks Home Alone at Night.
Yeah.
It's also not a good movie.
It's got a much more like star-studded cast, though, if I'm not mistaken. Is what Jason Momoa, Keanu Reeves.
Oh yeah, fucking Keanu's in it.
Jim Carrey, I read, is like a homeless guy with a big bushy beard.
Shut up, that was Jim Carrey.
Apparently, that was Jim Carrey. Again, I have not seen this movie, but I read about it a little bit because there was some controversy around it. But
I was not aware of the controversy.
Oh, so at a film festival,
they ate a guy.
They ate a guy. They got confused with the Star Wars show and just started eating people. No, they
sample. Sure. What is this?
Clone Trooper. Little gamey. Anyway, no, a black woman got up to the microphone to ask a question of the director, and she asked, "Why did you choose to kill all of the black characters? I found that offensive. Like, what were you trying? Like, what were you trying to say with that?" And like, at first, Karen, I almost said Karen Kusama. At first, Amarpur was like, "What?" Because she couldn't hear everything.
Okay, yeah.
So she had to have the question repeated to her. And then to which I think the response that she gave was, I might show you something on the screen, but I'm not telling you how to view it.
Okay.
If that makes sense. So, and like a lot of people came for her for that. Like, she got blown up on Twitter and whatnot for a little while, to the point that she started trying to engage with it and try and fight back with it, and ended up eventually deleting all of her social media from her phone. So, and like I have issues with this. It's like, on the one hand, killing off a bunch of black characters in a movie does feel shitty, and on the other hand, it feels odd to accuse an Iranian immigrant of racism.
Yeah,
especially when I don't know. It's again, I need to see the movie itself, but to my understanding, like,
there's a lot of dying in it in general.
Yeah,
I think there are. Oh God, I've watched so many movies this month. There's definitely one prominent death up front that's a black woman, but like makes sense narratively. It's also the thing that bothered me about the movie is going. I'm like, oh, the white woman is the main character who's just like running around doing white woman things.
Sure.
But if this were a white dude directing this, I'd probably say there was something to it. But it wasn't. I want to say towards the end, there's a black dude that comes in, but I can't remember what happens. I thought they made it to the city. I don't think he died, but I could be wrong.
I don't know.
Mostly there's a fucking Keanu in it who's Pablo Escobaring around.
That's weird.
That's so weird. Really weird. This was the other movie that introduced me to a band that I'm like, that was a sweet fucking band. This movie is stupid,
what was the band?
I think Federale.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like I always fuck up his name, but like Ennio Morricone.
Ennio Morricone. Yeah.
It's like him if all of his music was replayed by an indie band. And I've just been listening to that and the fucking My Chemical Romance song. It's been stuck in my head. It's a really weird whiplash.
Outstanding.
Yeah, if it were a thing that continued to happen in all of her movies, I'd probably call her on it. But also, she's done 2 movies.
Yeah, I mean, like my immediate reaction is like if somebody tells you you've done a racist thing, like listen to them, like try and hear them out. But like, I don't know, like this is such a weird example, and I haven't seen the movie to like be able to really fully judge for myself. So it's like I don't want to say anything definite about it. But it's like, be careful and be respectful about shit like that, I guess.
So like a couple episodes ago, we talked about Tim Burton, and we're like, I got an eye on you, Tim.
Yes.
Well, it's like I have both eyes fully focused on him, whereas with Anna Lily Amarpur, I'm like glancing over there.
Yeah, it's like that's maybe a thing to keep an eye out for, but like
probably not an issue, but like it's on the record.
It's on the record, yeah.
She also did 2 episodes of The Twilight Zone, the 2019 Jordan Peele.
Right.
I watched A Traveler, not the trailer. And the second episode was called Ovation. I haven't watched it yet. I'll probably watch it after we record.
Okay.
Didn't like it.
You didn't like The Traveler,
but no. A Traveler.
A Traveler. Yeah. Sorry. The Traveler is the Disney Plus series of the Star Wars and just
right. With cannibalism.
The cannibalism and the Bad Batch and
yeah. It was fine. In general, I don't know why, but this iteration of the Twilight Zone didn't click with me,
and that seems to be the case for a lot of people. It's not
bad.
I think
clicking for some reason.
I think I saw one episode of it. There was one episode they put up for free for people to watch, and I forget what that was. But beyond that, yeah, it seemed like a lot of people had a lot of mixed feelings about it.
I think part of the issue is that the reason I like the original Twilight Zone is this thing you may have heard of called nostalgia. It's pretty potent stuff.
Yeah, sure do.
I think also I like mid-century bullshit, so there's that.
Okay.
I also like it when people point out the assholery of those from the mid-century.
Yeah.
Which is the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, that's true.
I also like cheesy sci-fi shit.
That's very true. Yeah.
It has all those things that are maybe would be difficult to recreate.
Yeah, I get that.
But this episode wasn't bad. It was just
meh.
I think they tried to do too much. So the story is that this sheriff on Christmas in Alaska arrests her brother because her the chief of the department, sheriff, whatever, pardons one person every year.
Okay.
For Christmas. He's a douchebag. It's played by Greg Kinnear. He plays a great douchebag. But when it comes time to pardon her brother, who's just like sleeping off his drunk in the tank.
Yeah.
The Stephen, what's his face from Nope.
Stephen Yeun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is in like the cell next to him, and he's like, "Hi, I'm here. Definitely not an alien." Hoink. And it's just like that. It's just like a bunch of like weird alien shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's whatever. So yeah, best definitely girl walks home alone at night. Worst is still probably the Bad Batch.
Still probably Bad Batch. Okay.
Yeah. She does have a new movie coming out at the end of this month.
The Mona Lisa and the Blood Moon, I believe, which is a great title.
The trailer's out. You can watch the trailer.
I'll have to check that out later. Yeah.
It has like a 6.5 out of 10 on IMDb, but also like a girl walks home alone at night also doesn't have a super high score, so fuck them.
Really? That's
I don't think so.
Bizarre.
Or at least it doesn't have the score I feel it should have, which is like a 9.9 out of 10.
Yeah, no, it should have. I feel like it should have a very high score. That is upsetting to me.
Yeah, go watch that movie.
That's a 6.9.
Mona Lisa or girl?
Girl.
Yeah, that seems a little low.
Yeah, I mean, for IMDb, that's still pretty good. But
it's not bad. Like it's, it is. I do question why it's not higher.
Yeah,
but anyway.
Moving on to Lee Janiak.
Yes.
Okay.
She did the Fear Street trilogy that's on Netflix and Honeymoon. She's also directed a bunch of stuff, but we have enough movies here to just talk about that.
Yeah. Tabby from Happy Hour Podcast also chimed in on this one. She said that the first of those Fear Street movies, 1994, was her favorite, was her best, and that Honeymoon was her worst, which I know from what we talked about earlier that you disagree with.
I do. This is another one where I don't dislike any of the movies.
I've only seen Fear Street 1994 out of this list so far. I very much want to continue on to 78 and 1666, but
they're fun movies. I wouldn't say any of them are mind-blowingly awesome.
No,
they're just really fun to have.
They're competently made, well acted, visually stunning, and fun.
Here's something we can piss off the Marvel side of our fandom. It's kind of how I feel about some Marvel films, where I'm like, it's not good or bad, it's just like fun to have on.
Yeah, honestly, that I feel like that is a apt way to describe a good number of Marvel films.
Like this is the horror equivalent, where I wouldn't say that it's done anything that's going to stick with me, but it was like a really enjoyable hour and a half. 2 hours.
Sure.
Actually, I think they are an hour and a half. So that's another plus. Is like you're in and you're out. You just enjoyed
that was
minutes.
that was definitely one of the things I liked about these. Like they didn't belabor it. They didn't make you sit there for 2 to 2.5 to 3 hours, trying to just keep up with the pace of all these murders and all this other shit. It's like, no, they actually kept the pace going pretty good and got you out of here in 90 minutes.
Something that you'll pick up on as you watch the other two is the interconnectedness is pretty fun.
That's what I'm really looking forward to, because like the way they set that up in this one works well enough as a standalone thing, but the fact that there is that interconnectedness with these own unique stories, I'm thrilled. I can't wait to get more of it.
You could probably watch the first two separate of themselves. The last one, it wouldn't really make sense to watch without.
Sure.
So I prefer 1978 as my most favorite. Mostly aesthetic, like as far as the quality of film, pretty much the same as 94, but that like Camp Crystal Lake vibe with Max from Stranger Things is pretty great. Like
I thought that was her in the because they played like a little like teaser snippet at the end of 1994, and I was like, is that Max?
She's fucking killing it, like as an actress.
Yeah,
I forget her name, but you know, she first pops up in the second season of Stranger Things and has only gotten better.
I really like her in that season as well. Like and in season 3, like I still haven't seen the 4th season, but
that's where she
really shines. Excellent. Okay, that is the best thing I've heard about season 4 of Stranger Things. So that makes me excited to continue on.
See, I saw this 78, and then I was impressed with her performance here. And then seeing the new Stranger Things season, I'm like, oh, you are like going places. So I'll be excited to see what she performs in next. Honestly, the Fear Street,
Sadie Sink is the actress's name.
Sadie. The Fear Streets are all just like preference.
Sure.
Like the 90s, I'm like meh. 78, I like it.
See, the thing
1666, I don't care for that period of film.
That period film standards in 1666 were not up to snuff.
Almost like they were just pictures.
There's no movement, there's no sound. How am I supposed to? How can I find myself in this?
Somebody move it back and forth me a little bit. The picture.
Oh, there you go. Ezekiel, spin the zoetrope faster.
Well, shit, no, I just want to see that.
I have no idea if they had zoetropes in the 1600s.
I did a weird amount of research on zoetropes at one point, but I can't remember. It's the zoetropes.
Yeah, they're neat.
So I would probably say, so Honeymoon is her first film.
Oh, it's her first one. Okay, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and it's very indie.
Cool.
It had a budget though. Like I say indie, but when I say indie, I mean like $6 in a sausage.
Hey! It's like 50 in a sausage. All right,
2 sausages.
That's right. High class production. Big Hollywood movie.
Backup sausage. We used. But I think she had like $1 million, which is still low budget.
That is a nothing budget. But still, that's
way more than
we'll ever see. Yeah, holy shit! If we had $1 million to make American Curse, my life would have been so much easier.
I don't know what I would do.
Right? You'd have gotten me a fucking assistant.
I probably would have given some back. Like, we don't get it.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
No. We've done this with 2 sausages and $6 before.
Well, no, we would have paid the cast more. We would have paid the crew more. We would have shipped in dry ice.
We would have shipped in dry ice. We would have stayed in a hotel.
We would have stayed in a hotel instead of sleeping on top of each other in a fucking cabin.
That giant giant saucer light.
We would have had that giant saucer light that they used in Nope. Yeah. Oh my god.
So you're spending.
We still would have had the fake condom squibs that Matt put together though, because those were great.
It was great. no complaint. We probably just like would have hired like a really well-known composer.
Yeah.
What's John up to?
John Williams.
No. Carpenter. Probably would have fit the upcoming Remy Speed Pictures movie, American Curse, out someday in the future.
Eventually.
Anyway, Honeymoon. I like first of all, the acting's fantastic.
Okay. Any actors I would recognize? Or
you might, I didn't, but I think the one woman is in Game of Thrones somewhere.
Oh,
she's a Scot.
She's a Scot.
Yeah, but she was phenomenal. The dude was phenomenal. It's really just like the two of them. And there's like two other characters that show up briefly. But they like go on their honeymoon. They're off like in a cabin on a lake. Some weird shit happens.
Oh, Rose Leslie.
Sure.
Yeah, no, you're right. She was in the Game of Thrones.
She was great. I've never seen her anything else, but holy shit, can she act?
Yeah, no, she's excellent.
But see, the first half hour of the movie is just like developing their relationship together and seeing how well like they acted so well together that I was like, are they actually together? I don't know if they are not. But, like their performance together was holy shit.
That's amazing. I love when you can get lost in a relationship in a movie that way, where you really can't tell like is this chemistry real or are they just really fucking good actors?
Yeah, and the dialogue was a little bit too heightened for me. Like it felt like you're watching a theatrical play level of dialogue.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let's chill our tits a little bit, Diablo Cody. Like, which is only weird because then in the like second and third act, it's more down to earth.
Sure.
Whereas they've been that the whole time out of that.
Yeah.
But seeing them have this fantastic relationship, and then something happens where they are separated. It's really upsetting.
Okay.
So like she starts to act really weird, and he's like, I feel like we're like not connecting anymore. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Because he finds her in the woods in the middle of the night, just like completely naked and like bleeding.
Weird. Okay.
I'm trying not to give it away because
I'm probably going to watch this. So.
Yeah, it is on Tubi if you speak Spanish.
God damn it.
There are no subtitles, so you have to speak Spanish, or you can rent it.
It's not on Shudder or anything. Come on.
Yeah, it was not like a cheap rent either. It was
really
$6.
$6,
yeah. Which is like fine. Like I'll give money to these quote unquote indie directors.
Yeah, sure.
But also, God damn it.
Yeah, seriously.
So yeah, I am excited for all of her stuff. Is she one that's hanging out with Guillermo or no?
No.
Yeah.
No. Ember Poor was the only one on our list today that's actually going to be doing the Guillermo del Toro TV show.
Gotcha. And as I remember, she doesn't have anything in the works either, so give her a job.
Yeah, someone hired her to do more shit.
I think if somebody didn't like Honeymoon, it might be because it could be considered like highbrow horror. It's not quite that to me.
Sure.
Like there's some symbolism, but it's not like you have to watch 6 YouTube videos to understand what the fuck happened.
Yeah, that's not a big barrier for entry there then.
No, good watch. That brings us to our gold standard. Not gold standard, but our granddaddy horror director.
Bill from down the street.
Bill from down the street.
Yep.
You should see the stuff he films with his phone.
It's horrifying. Genuinely uncomfortable.
Stop sending me these videos. Want to see what I can fit in my butt? No, Bill.
No, not the bees.
It's just bees. Saw Candyman one time.
Oh no.
Inspired him for life. God, I can't wait for a nap. Hey, Wes Craven. He's a guy that existed.
He's a guy that existed for a while. R.I.P. buddy. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he may have had a little bit of an impact on the world of horror film, huh?
Maybe a little bit.
A little bit. Just a touch.
He did have one or two or not horror that's baffling.
Yeah.
He did one of the segments in Paris Jetem.
It's weird.
It was weird. It's my least favorite.
We're watching this like series of French shorts, and suddenly Freddy Krueger showed up.
See, I didn't like that. No, it was like, look at this couple not connecting, but then they fall in love again. It did take place in a cemetery, though. Yeah, but a French cemetery, so it's classy. Yeah,
that might be the dumbest thing I've ever done.
Nope. But I want to say there was like a rom-com in his filmography as well.
There might have been. I remember we were looking through there, and I thought there was one that stood out as like one of these things, and not like the other.
So Wes Craven had been directing for quite a while.
Quite a while.
So I'm just gonna rattle down the list because it's. I've not watched all of his films. I have not watched Deadly Blessing, which I think is probably the one that sticks out. Deadly Friend, The Hills Have Eyes 2, Swamp Thing. I think there's one or two others I've not seen. I hit the wrong button. Oh, there's Vampire in Brooklyn, Cursed, My Soul to Take, Shocker, and the one I actually want to watch that I've not watched yet, The Serpent and the Rainbow. I think has Mr. President in it.
Mr. President?
From Independence Day.
Oh, okay. Is that Pullman?
Pullman.
Yeah. Okay. Neat.
Yeah.
I can get down on that. So Tabby from Happy Hour pointed out Hills Have Eyes 2 as what she has for worst of Craven's, and Cam Sully has My Soul to Take as listed as worst as well.
I think that was his next to last film.
Okay.
I want to say. Because he
phoned it in at that point, huh?
Well, he managed to do Scream 4 right before he passed away.
Okay.
Which I really enjoyed, as we'll see. So like luckily he went out on like a good one.
Yeah.
If it had not been that's why I'm like, John, Mr. Carpenter, please just do one more, because whatever his last horror film did not do very well. Just give us one more. The scores you're doing, fantastic. One more film. So Wes Craven, what have you watched of his?
I've watched a bunch of the Nightmare on Elm Streets, and I've seen the original Scream. I think that's about it. I have seen. No, I've not seen the sequels, unfortunately. They are on my list to get caught up on. Yeah, I think I want to rewatch the original and then power through all of the up to the latest, so I'm ready for the next one. Something I've not actually seen but have watched a great video essay on was The People Under the Stairs.
Yeah,
and I really want to watch that because that seems fun as hell.
Honestly, that's probably the way you should watch it, is watch the analysis of it.
Yep.
And then watch, because if you just go in blind, you're like, the fuck did I just watch? And you'll miss all of the subtext.
Yeah. I can definitely see it being really easy to overlook the subtext of that one.
Yeah. So
you just get lost in the guy in a gimp suit walking around with a shotgun.
And the literal people in the walls.
Yep.
So least favorite is his segment from Paris Jetem, and it is called Something French. Because they're all...
I'm choosing to believe that it's just called literally in English something French. Just he couldn't be bothered to come up with a name.
Who picked Wes Craven for the French film? I think they also have the Coen Brothers, but that made a little.
That makes a little bit more sense.
Like not make sense, but more sense.
Yeah.
But there are. They're not called birds.
Wait do you see what Tarantino was going to do?
Are they like arrondissement or something like that? Instead of boroughs, you know, like New York's broken up into boroughs.
Yeah.
France is broken up into the 9.
Oh, I have no fucking idea.
Well, each one of them is the name of one of the shorts.
Oh, okay.
So here's me trying to remember like 2 months of Duolingo French. Père Lachaise.
Père Lachaise.
You know,
okay.
I hated it.
So Wes Craven did Barrel of Shave.
Barrel of Shaves.
Okay.
It has Rufus in it.
Rufus.
Yeah, I can't remember his last name. So yeah, Rufus.
Rufus. I have no idea who you're talking about.
You know, Rufus.
Rufus.
He one up from that is Red Eye. Really don't like that movie. That was dumb. Then you have Scream 3. Did not care for that.
Didn't care for Scream 3. Okay.
It was very much of its time. I think Jay and Silent Bob popped up in this for a second.
Oh, that.
It was like
that did happen, didn't it?
Scream does Hollywood.
Yeah.
Then The Hills Have Eyes, the OG.
Okay.
I didn't really care for it, but I do like the time period and the aesthetic. Scream 2 is one up from that, and really from like Scream 2 onward, I enjoy them all. But doesn't quite recapture the magic of the first one, but is still pretty fun to watch.
Sure.
Then you have The People Under the Stairs, which is a fucking weird movie that I enjoy.
It's a fucking movie that exists, and it seems like it'd be so much fun.
They reunite the couple from Twin Peaks.
That's right. Yeah.
They work so well together.
Oh man.
Like, you know, somebody in the studio was like, we can't. We're just
we got one of them. We have to try to get the other.
Well, I feel like somebody probably argued against. I'm like, we can't just have them. We're just hanging together. And somebody's like, yeah, but like they did it really well.
They did it really well. It's so good. You know they have chemistry.
Yeah, bonkers chemistry. Then New Nightmare. After that,
sure, okay,
kind of like soft reboot.
I remember there being a lot of hype for that whenever it was originally coming out.
It's like my fourth favorite Nightmare movie.
Okay.
I go like 1, 3, 2, New Nightmare. Above that, and this is the one I watched for this episode, was The Last House on the Left, which I'd never seen before.
Yes.
It's a fucking weird ass movie, which I liked because what I expected was just a whole bunch of like 90 minutes of assault.
But it wasn't that.
It wasn't that. There was definitely that. But the movie, my understanding of the movie was always that it was horrible to watch, and it was just a bunch of assault.
Okay.
Mostly because the remake is that.
Oh shit.
Which I've not watched, but Belinda said she was watching it at a friend's house and had to go into the bathroom because it was awful.
Damn.
Yeah. This is to paraphrase something Wes Craven said about the making of the movie. I don't know. I was high most of the time.
It's a Stephen King.
Yeah, and it was very much like, you know, hippies made this movie.
Yeah.
Like, I think I texted you while I was watching it, and the first 15 minutes, I'm like, oh, it's just a goofy hippie movie.
You did say that. Yeah, I do remember that.
It's like, oh, their hippie daughter's off to go see a band, and they're stick in the mud. Dad and mom are just like, no, you be safe. Like, oh, Dad. And he's like, why aren't you wearing a bra, you hippie? And she's like, I don't need one, Dad. And then there's a lot of murder.
Tone shift. Gotcha.
Yeah. It's like, these maniacs have escaped from prison and are on the right cross countryside. Don't run into those guys. They're real bad. And then the youngest and really the only redeemable person of the evil people was like, you want to buy some cocaine? And they're like, do we? We're hippies on the way to a concert. And he's like, right inside, murder. That's my summary of Last House on the Left. But
it sounds like a good time.
It's not, but it is very interesting, and I think the reason I enjoy it is because it takes several tonal shifts that you're like, huh, didn't expect that.
Okay.
First, fun hippie movie, then the movie I expected it to be, which is like murder and assault, and then parent revenge film.
Strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is kind of wild.
Yeah. Above that is Scream 4. It is this high on the list because of the character of Kirby, and that's it. I mean, I enjoyed the movie in general, but Kirby is the one that gets it up there. I forget the actress's name, but she was in Heroes. She was the blonde one.
Hayden Panettiere?
Yeah.
Okay.
She plays a film nerd.
Cool.
Like a horror film nerd. And she's really good at it.
Nice.
I think they're actually fans like her so much that they'll bring her back for the newest one.
Oh, nice.
We never did really show that she died. It's just pretty, you just assume she died because of the thing that happened.
Excellent.
But also show it. People do really like this character. Above that is Nightmare on Elm Street. And then my favorite is Scream.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
I had a feeling Scream was going to be at the top of the list for you there.
Yeah. It's a movie I can just put on every year and still enjoy it.
Hell yeah.
It's the entire cast is fun. I love me some Matthew Lillard.
Yeah, he's excellent.
Just everything about it hits the right button.
Hell yeah.
It's funny and scary. Great opening.
Mm-hmm. It is an iconic opening. Yeah, I probably have to put Scream at the top of mine for him as well. As much as I like the old, the original handful of Freddy's, just
and I not that I haven't pissed off enough people yet, but I really like the second Nightmare on Elm Street. It's
I don't remember it well enough. I know I've seen it.
It is. They bring Freddy into the real world to kill him.
Oh yeah,
but it's an awful movie unless you watch it as the main character being a closeted gay man, which he very clearly is. And he's having these nightmares of Freddy because he's trying to figure out his sexuality.
Okay.
That's the way to watch it. If you don't watch it like that, it's stupid.
Gotta go for the queer reading. Okay.
Yes.
Cool. I'm all for that.
Yeah, we did it.
We did it.
We did the Jamborazamatazz. Cool.
Whew.
I'm like, man, I should watch some palate cleanser movies, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not.
No, I know you're not. No.
I'm probably going to play Silent Hill too. Kind of getting the vibe that James is not a nice fella.
I don't remember. Yeah.
If the monsters are an indication of his mental state, it's not good.
Fair.
It's probably not a nice fella.
No.
Don't spoil it for me, fans of DeRazzled. I want to figure out this game from 98, 99?
It's been a while. It's been a minute. Yeah.
Yeah. Watch the movies that you enjoy, your classics, watch every Halloween, but also try some other shit.
Yeah. And I just want to reiterate, the point of this whole exercise was not to hate on any movies or shit on any directors here. It was just an experiment to kind of look at some of the horror mainstays and some of the lesser known horror contributors to the horror genre out there, and get some suggestions for other stuff to watch and kind of gauge our own feelings about some of this stuff. Part
of it is, we came up with our list of directors we wanted to talk about, best to worst, and we're like, everyone's done this.
Yeah,
these 6 or 7 horror directors, everyone's done this, and we will probably do it in the future. Yeah, we'll probably do different.
Yeah, we'll probably do more of this, but who knows? Maybe next time it'll be more structured. Maybe we'll do some. Maybe we'll take another twist to it or something like that.
Electric seats.
Oh man,
seats, yeah.
That will be rigged into the stream chat, and people will get to shock us if they don't like our opinions.
Yeah.
Just shocker butts right there.
Butt shocker.
While
we watch Shocker by Wes Craven.
That only seems right.
Yeah. Probably the only way it'll be fun.
Oh,
either that or we can live stream us watching Lawnmower Man. It's a movie that was so loosely based on a Stephen King movie or story that he sued to get his name taken off.
Yeah.
He's like, no, it wasn't. And they're like, legally, we agree with you.
Amazing.
Well, we have another spooky episode coming up
next week. We'll have our next episode where you're going to be digging into one of the original Razzie nominees for Worst Picture, Friday the 13th. So we are excited to do that. We're not entirely sure what we're going to do with it at this point. There's some ideas percolating, but we have a little bit of time before we actually record that. But yeah, we'll be back with that. I guess next week from when you listen to this, or maybe 2 weeks. We'll see. Yeah, whatever. But in the meantime, thank you all for listening, for checking us out here and joining us. If you enjoyed what you heard, if you like the show, please rate and review everywhere you possibly can. A nice gentleman I'd like to highlight, Zach from Effin' Cultured and the Neat Cast, reviewed us everywhere, iTunes, Good Pods, Podchaser, wherever the hell else. He reviewed us very, very positively on all those platforms. So thank you, Zach, for that. So yeah, you can find us on all those platforms or on Podcast Addict or Stitcher or wherever you listen to podcasts. Please like, subscribe, rate, review to help us get further up in search results and help people discover us more easily so we can get into more people's ear holes. If you want to follow us on social media, you can do so on Twitter at DeRazzledPod, on Facebook at DeRazzled Podcast, at Instagram on Instagram at DeRazzled_podcast, and on TikTok at
DeRazzled.
At DeRazzled.
Pod. Yeah, I fixed it. So you
wait, is it DeRazzled Pod or?
It's a good question.
We should be sure of that.
Okay. I'm using my phone.
Yeah, hold on.
I'm pretty sure it's DeRazzled, but I also sent you the link.
You did send me the link. That's true.
Because I had it one way, fucked up, and then had to change it.
Yeah.
Because I'm professional.
I gotta rewind conversation a little bit here. Otto von Bismarck is Garfield. There's Nick Cage's cat.
Fuck. Did we talk about all that yesterday?
This is over the past several days.
Okay.
At DeRazzled_podcast on TikTok. So yeah, everywhere, follow us, look at our nonsense. If you want to wear our nonsense, you can look us up on Redbubble and buy merch at DeRazzled merch.
Yes.
I think that covers everything.
You can't escape us.
You can't escape us. No. If you want to ask for permission and or directions on how to escape us, or suggest things you'd like to see us cover, email us at DeRazzledPodcast@gmail.com.
I actually kind of like the idea of voicemails. So leave us voicemails. Those are very nice.
Yeah, it was kind of fun getting voicemails here for this episode. Yeah, so send us more thoughts, more stuff about things that we're gonna be covering. Like if you have something you want to share about Friday the 13th.
Like, why did they give abs to a sentinel?
Why did they give abs to a sentinel?
It doesn't need abs.
No, not at all.
Is it supposed to intimidate me? Is it a scarier robot because it has artificial abs?
Yes.
Let us know it.
But yeah, let us know at DeRazzledPodcast@gmail.com. We welcome that, or on our Anchor page for that matter. It's while you still can leave voicemails there. So I think that wraps up everything for us. So
don't eat too much candy.
Don't eat too much candy. Eat a responsible amount of candy. Don't want to get a tummy ache. Because if you don't have a tummy ache, then we'll be sure to.
If you put razor blades in your apples, make sure to push them in the whole way.
But you don't want them to. You don't want them to be easily telegraphed.
Or it's kind of.
Don't put razor blades in apples, please. Don't do that.
Put them in before you dip them in the caramel.
No, just don't do that.
Sure to razzle dazzle you.
Fuck.
Good God.
Okay.
How long was that? Because I'm pretty sure it was way longer than I thought it was going to be.
It was long, but there was also a long gap in there where I needed to eat bagels.